Slow. Moss. Rajizi. What is up? Happy Thursday. Beep boop. Bots are good, as far as I'm concerned. As far as this live is concerned. With regards to this live, I should say. Bots are okay. I hope everyone's having a happy Thursday. Good afternoon. Dr. Joe, thank you. Rajizi, thank you for the hearts. Oh, got the cake. Got the level up cake. Very nice. I'm looking to get a winner for bingo today. Like, we've gone all week and no winners. So we need to get some winners today. Sensei, hey. Yeah, we need a winner today. At least one. If not two. The zinc spark at conception is explained by science, so nope. Not evidence God is real. If you have evidence and you're at least 18, you're a Christian, a Muslim, or a Jew, come on up and let's talk about it. All right, let's get affordable pest management out of the way. Let's start there. All right, affordable pest management. How's it going?
Yo, not bad. How you doing?
Doing well. Are you still a Christian?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So what do you have today for us? What evidence do you have today?
I'm going to go with math.
With math. How so?
Well, math explains the natural world like counting things to movements of the planets. But where does math come from? Okay, something we invented, or
Yeah.
to explain the natural world, organic or natural, or the second possibility is math was already there and controls the universe.
Okay.
And we just discovered it. Hence,
Okay.
if that's true, the math is supernatural.
How so? How's it supernatural? Because that supernatural means that which can't be explained by science, but we can explain what math is. So that doesn't line up.
Well, it lines up in the sense that it goes beyond the ordinary or natural. Okay.
Well,
And
that's your claim. How do you know that?
Well, that's what I'm prepared to prove.
Okay.
So here's why math is supernatural. It provides infinite information of numbers with their own individual properties. Like pi explains the area of a circle.
It's not supernatural. I just said supernatural is that which can't be explained by science, and science can explain that. So I'm confused. Why are you calling it supernatural when we can explain it?
Math was already there and controls the universe, and we discovered it. Hence, that if that's true, then math is supernatural, meaning it's not natural.
Okay. So again, I mean, if you're going to redefine things, but that's not what the definition of supernatural is. Supernatural is that which cannot be explained by science. So I'm trying to understand if you're going to redefine things, but words mean words, right? So I'm at a loss here. It's not supernatural. We can explain it.
Where I'm going with it is it's either organic and natural or it's not natural. So I call it supernatural. It just goes outside of the realm of being natural.
Okay. Well, that's what you call it, but that's not what the definition of supernatural is.
That's fine. So let's move on from here then. I just, explained why I use that term that way.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just saying that, just because I I call a strawberry an orange, that doesn't mean it's an orange, right?
Well, in the
I mean, yeah,
truest
if we
sense of the
redefine things,
definition,
yeah, but words mean words. So,
okay, in the truest sense of the definition, if we're going Webster's way, but that's not
well,
not
yeah,
my motivation. I'm just trying to establish that either math is natural, okay, and it's something um, that we
maybe
invented to explain
maybe organic versus inorganic. Maybe,
organic versus inorganic. Well,
yeah, maybe
let's
that's
go
a better way to put it. Yeah, maybe that's better. So inorganic would be something that's like manufactured, you know, like a steel, like alloy, right? Steel. That's not organic. You know, it's something it's a composite. We put it together. But organic would be something like a leaf. So is that a little bit better? Would that help?
That's fine. I'll go along with it.
Okay.
So why math is organic is that it provides an infinite amount of numbers with their own individual properties, like pi, which explains the area of the circle. And if we were just, a call was coming in. Bear
Oh
with me.
yeah. Yeah. No worries. Okay.
So pi explains the area of the circle, and if we were just making it up, we could make up pi too. So if we wanted to be, and we can't do that because it's not true. So we can't make math up. Math, like pi is pi, okay, explaining the area of the circle.
Okay.
So we know all this information is out there somewhere, but we can't be in our universe because our universe is finite and math is infinite. Math
Mhm.
contains every possible combination of numbers, and if we use numbers as codes for letters, then math has every possible combination for letters as well. That means that every book that's ever been written already exists coded in math somewhere.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Just kind of go back to what you were saying. So if math is like what we kind of landed on organic as a way to describe it, and so let's just say that's true. Let's just say that we discovered math. We didn't invent math. I'm still not sure how that gets you to God. Like, therefore, God is real. That seems like a big jump. It's a non sequitur.
Okay, so I'm getting there. I'll get there really quick. So if we use math for code in particles and their locations, then you can
Okay.
say that there's an exact copy of our universe encoded in math.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why math can't be contained just in our universe. A lot of evidence, math has a designer, the simple equation called the Mandelbrot set. Okay, that's Z.
Well, yeah, I
equals Z.
understand. And you also realize that depending on who you talk to, even in mathematics, like PhD people who hold PhDs in math, they don't even agree with whether math is invented or discovered. They don't even agree. So it's kind of up in the air. So it's not like a settled thing. But I'm going along with what you're saying. Let's just say it was discovered. Okay. I'll just go along with you. I know you're calling out all these things, but that doesn't mean that a God created it. You haven't demonstrated that a God created it. Complexity doesn't equal design.
Okay.
We got a dragon APM, so I got to let you go. But hey, appreciate you coming up. So that was quick. Wheezy. Wow. You just like sent a dragon out, and I had to drop the guess. I think that might have been unintentional. I don't know. Easy, was that intentional or unintentional? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. APM, if you're still here, request back up, because the dragon immediately kicks the guest. So I thought it was someone doing that. So it doesn't automatically go with that. So so Affordable Pest Management, if you're still here, request back up, please, and we can finish our conversation. It was actually fun. It was actually pleasant. So I apologize. Yeah, that was funny. I was like, oh, I see a dragon. Disconnect.
Do.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, oops. But then I realized, wait a minute, that was quite a spawn kill. I should probably double check. Uh, oh, well,
That is fair. Yeah, maybe you should change the gift goal.
okay. Change it to something else. Yeah, maybe I'll just do that.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, but
Because
thank
your
you.
gift goal should be different than the
You're right.
kick gift.
Yeah, I'll just do like a generic gift goal. But thank you, Easy. I appreciate that. That was very nice of you. Very nice. W Easy. And anyway, I do like the dragon, but it's actually, yeah, okay. Well, see, I got a bit of a dilemma here, Ember, because I really like the dragon, but it's not as much as the jellyfish was, you know, because like I kind of need like a a difference between like an early kick pull and then like an immediate kick. You know what I mean?
So do you want to do dragon for, hold on, let me look at the gifts. So do you want to do, I like the interactive gifts.
Do, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Dragon, how much is the jellyfish?
It's double. It's 1,000 coins.
It's 1,000. Okay,
Yeah.
let me look at what is
I mean, the
here
jellyfish is
on the-
cool.
You could do fairy wings.
Okay, maybe we'll do fairy wings. That works.
Or flamingo groove.
Okay, I could do
Those
that.
are both 1,000 coins and they're interactive.
Yeah.
Let me see what else there is.
It's kind of sad. It's not a dragon.
I know. Well, that one can be the kick pole.
Early kick pull? Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
there's
just
a
do
diamond tree that's 1088.
that. Okay. Let's do the well, is the dinosaur interactive? It just shows up, right?
It
So I
just
don't really
shows
want-
up, but I was just looking at the dinosaur. You could do that one, or fireworks is 1088.
Yeah, I don't want to go over 1,000. I think
Blooming ribbons.
blooming ribbons.
That one's pretty.
Is it? Oh, I can do pretty. Okay. Where's
It's
that?
like gold.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think
So
we,
there's
I think
some
we
good
wrote that.
options.
Yeah, good options. Yeah. I mean, jellyfish is not bad. It's pretty cool.
Right.
Maybe
But
I'll
we've
just
had it for a while.
We've had it for a while. We should switch it up. Yeah, you're right. We should switch it up. I'm with you on that. Okay, so
Yeah, make it exciting.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so we'll do the dragon as the early kick pull, and then I gotta change my scroll too. We'll do the dragons the early kick pull, and then what was it? Blooming ribbons. Okay, we'll do blooming ribbons as the okay. So for the live goal, I'll just do something like something that has nothing to do with it. So
Oh,
I
I
don't
thought you were
know.
going to do the dragon for that one.
oh, you know what? You're right. I'll keep that as the dragon. Okay, so we'll do the dragon as the early kick pull. That will remain the goal, and then we'll do oh crap, I forgot what it was.
Blooming ribbons.
Blooming ribbons. Thank you. We'll do blooming
Yeah.
ribbons as the immediate kick. Okay, that's what we'll do. See, we're
Thanks
changes.
for your patience, Sam.
Thanks for your patience.
We appreciate you.
Thanks for your patience, everybody. Because okay, so now I got to go change the scroll real quick, just so it reflects the correct thing. And yeah, see, this is important, chat. You know.
Yeah,
We gotta-
keep tapping, y'all, please. Send
Please
your
do.
daily heart me's. Do all the things. Repost the live.
Yeah.
Share it to your story. Share it to like 1 to 5 friends, or copy the link 5 times. That can help too.
Yeah. What was it called again? It was called what?
Blooming ribbons.
Blooming ribbons. Okay, that's actually easy because now the goal is the dragon as the early kick pull. Okay, we got it. But oh well. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy to see the dragon, that we can keep it somehow. All right. And okay, so you guys see the scrolling chat text above me. So just be aware of that. So the gift goal is, or a $5 super chat is trigger an early kick pull, and then the blooming ribbons is an immediate kick, or a $10 super chat. So
Request up if you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or the Quran. We don't
Yes.
have anybody in requests right now, but we have a lot of people yapping in chat.
Yeah. Oh, we do have one, and we have just one.
Oh, just kidding, y'all. I accidentally lied.
Miss Sephora 2. Okay, let's bring that person up. See, I was kind of enjoying the conversation with affordable pest management, but
That's fair.
yeah, that's okay. I feel bad, but so 8 p.m. if you're listening, yeah, come back again another day, and or come back soon, and we'll pick it up where we left off. All right, Miss Sephora, how's it going?
Good on yourself.
Doing well, thanks. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
Mr. and I'm 22.
Okay. And wait, did you say what? What was you said you were 22, and what was the first thing you said?
I'm Mr. Ngwenya.
Okay, that's a title. So as far as pronouns go, which pronouns do you prefer? Like, you know what pronouns are, right? I, he, she, it, they, them, we, us, our, your.
Or,
So which pronouns do you prefer to be?
or he.
He. Okay,
He,
thank you.
because in South Africa, pronouns is basically Mr. or whatsoever. So yeah.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. You know what, Ember, that explains. Remember the guest we had on a while ago who was from South Africa? And he said, I don't do pronouns. That's stupid. You know what he was probably referring to was the Mr. and the Miss and the Misses.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. So it was just a cultural confusion thing. Yeah. He didn't realize, well, what we were talking about, and we didn't realize what he was talking about. So I think that maybe that's what it was. Okay. We learned something new. Thank you, Ms. Sephora. Okay. And which God do you believe in, Ms. Sephora? The God of the Bible, the God of the Torah, or the God of the Quran?
The God of the Bible, God of Moses. God
Okay.
of David.
All right. What is your best evidence that God is real?
Basically, that I'm still alive today. That there's oxygen to breathe in. There's water to drink. That's basically evidence for me.
Okay. Now, science can explain all of those. So why did science come up with different answers than you?
Okay, so basically, I don't think science explains how things are formed. I think explains how things work, if I may say.
Well, no, they explain why you're alive. They can explain why we have water. They explain why we have air, like all the things that you just gave. Now, so if are we shifting to they can't explain why things are here? Well, they actually kind of can. They can explain how the earth formed. They can explain how how humans came to be. They can explain, how life started.
True, which is true.
Yeah.
But my
So-
question is, what formed or what created the water that scientists explain? Who created me and you? That scientists explain how we were formed. That's my question to you. Is they explain? I don't deflect on that. But
Okay.
my question is, who formed me and you and the water we drink every day?
Okay, so the water we drink every day, the laws of physics form that, and scientists do know how to create water. So, it's remarkable, but it's not like, it's not mysterious or supernatural. And as far as you and I were formed, that's the theory of evolution and natural selection, which we have a ton of evidence for. Like every major scientific discipline has evidence for evolution all across like every scientific discipline. So we have that. We have hundreds of years of evidence for evolution. We've got over 70 years worth of evidence for abiogenesis starting in 1952 up until like as recently as last March. So we've got lots of evidence for it. Yeah. Now, do we have
you do know
100%
that,
answers? No, we don't have 100% answers, but we have a lot more answers than a belief in a God.
Okay, but you do know that one of the biggest scientists do believe in God and do
Sure.
believe that God created everything.
About
even though some
20%.
people don't think.
20% of scientists believe in
Yes.
God. Yeah, it's true. So it's not 100%. Yeah, you're right. But that doesn't mean that God is real. Like, how does that demonstrate that? Because I can just say 80% of scientists don't believe in a God, and you wouldn't believe me if I said, well, because 80% of scientists don't believe in a God, that means God's not real, right? You wouldn't believe me, would you?
Okay, so you don't believe that God is real?
No.
So what can you tell me that God isn't real? What evidence is there that says God isn't real?
Okay, so lots of evidence. Number one, it contradicts what we know about our reality as far as the laws of physics go. So, like especially the Christian God, it's not possible within our reality to have a God that interact in our world that can defy the laws of physics. It's never been seen before, never been done, and it's contradictory. The other thing is quantum mechanics. It describes it points to like an eternal universe, like time is eternal, space is eternal, energy is eternal, gravity is eternal. And if all those things always existed, then what did God create? So there was nothing for God to create. And also, if you take, you could take personal experience. There are many people on this earth who have not had a personal experience with anything spiritual or anything godlike, right? There are people who have prayed and have had nothing happen. There are people who have not had any type of religious experience. So if this God is real, then you would expect that everybody would have had the experience. There are logical arguments against it, philosophical arguments against it. So there's lots of reasons not to believe in a God. So what other reasons do you have to believe in a God besides, because so far everything you've given, we have explanations for. So what else is there?
Okay, so since you said earlier that humans evolved, I don't know, chimpanzees or monkeys or whatsoever, right? So at that time there were no scientists, but everything was still there that you guys are explaining till this day, is in like how water is made, how we breathe, how we
I just said that scientists know how to make water. Scientists have made water and know how to make it. They know how to make water from two atoms of hydrogen two atoms of hydrogen, one part of oxygen.
But my question is, right, they can explain it, but the truth is they found water when they were born. They found water. How can they explain something and say we can make it while they found it already for them to make them live?
Because they found water elsewhere outside of Earth, and we have evidence that they came here, that water was planted here by comets, because a lot of comets and debris and meteors and stuff struck the Earth when the Earth was first formed because of gravitational forces. And so that's the evidence that we have. So just asking, well, how did water get here? Again, it can be explained. Have you taken any science classes?
No, we don't take sciences. No.
Oh, okay. Well, because if you did take science classes, this is what they would teach you.
But even though I take science classes, I still believe in God, that God created.
Oh no, that's fine. You can still believe in God. I'm just saying all of these things that you're bringing up, you would learn all of this in science class. That doesn't mean, and nobody in science says, therefore God doesn't exist. Nobody says that. There are scientists who don't believe in God, but there are no scientists out there that say this all proves that there's no God. Nobody ever says that. But it just seems to be that when believers are talking about this stuff, they run to things like this. Well, how did all this get here? How did that get here? Well, we have explanations for that. We have theories. We have evidence for that. But we don't have any evidence that God created any of this.
But you do know that whatever scientists explain is more of a way of like verifying that there is a God. You do know that, right?
Wait. So can you say that again? I didn't understand what you said. I'm sorry. I didn't quite understand what you.
I'm saying, the more scientists explain, the more God is revealed that there is a God.
Mm,
Because
I
what
don't
they
agree with that.
explain more, it shows that there is a God. Let me give you a pretty good example, right? Let's say a car, you understand? Scientists are more of like people who actually explain how a car works, how the gear works, how it moves, and God is the maker of the car. So, in other words, them explaining how the car works reveals the owner of the car, as in like how the car was made. Yeah, I don't know if you understand my point.
I think I might. However, I don't agree with what you're saying, and here's why. Because we have evidence that, when civilizations first began to form, that people attributed like the weather to a god. Like lightning was the lightning god. When a volcano erupted, that was the volcano god. When it rained, it was the rain god. And the wind was the wind god. And then we found evidence for why all those things happened. And then it wasn't attributed to a god anymore. So we know why wind occurs. We know why rain occurs. We know why volcanoes erupt. We know why lightning strikes. So we have evidence for all of that stuff. And so it seems to me that the more evidence we gather about our world, the further away we get to a God being responsible for it. And so that's why I'm asking you. Yeah. So if, like I said, we have evidence for all this, we have explanations based on the evidence for everything that you're bringing up. So I'm still trying to understand what evidence that you have that a God is real. If we have evidence for everything you've brought up so far, what else is there that tells you there is a God?
Okay, before I answer the question, right, I would like to clarify something real quick. When you say evidence, I feel like scientists explain how things work. That doesn't mean that it's an evidence that there isn't a God.
Right. It's the explanations are based on evidence. How do you think they got those explanations?
By searching, I don't know what they do, by searching, going around, adventures, all those things. It's the way, like.
Well, wait a minute. Well, hold on. How do you think that they got all that? How do you think they got the evidence, or how do you think they got the explanation? Like you said, they're searching, and what did they find when they searched?
Find how things work, basically.
Found out how things work, but how did they do that? Do you know how they did that?
How they're formed. Sorry?
Do you know how they did that? Like, do you know the steps they took? Okay. So the steps they took, they did what's called the scientific method. And that's based on observation, testing, forming a hypothesis, which is like an educated guess. So like, for example, they would observe something happening, right? Or they would see something happening or understand that something is happening, or they would see a state in which something is in, right? And then they would take an educated guess as to why it was in that state. And then what they would do is they would run tests. They would experiment, and they would see, why is it in this state? And then the results of the experiment, the results of the test, they would document it, and then they would publish their findings based on the results of the experiment. That's what the scientific method is. And so they actually went through all this. So how would you test whether or not God is real? What's a test that we could run to demonstrate that God is real?
Okay, can I answer your question in my reality? Like how I...
Sure, yeah, however you want to answer it. Yeah, I just want to ask, that's what I'm asking. What test could we run? Like, what steps could we take to verify that God is real?
It's pretty simple. Prayer. You just pray for whatever. Yes, pray for what you need, and God will provide. My testimony is I was HIV positive for since I was born, and I prayed something last year. And surprisingly, when I went back to the clinic, they said it's negative. You understand?
Well, that's great. That's great to hear. Yeah, that's great to hear that you tested negative.
Thank you. To clarify that God is doing that. So many people I know were shots. There's a guy I know shots 2 bullets on his brain, but some people 1 bullet on the brain will die. same spot, and the other two, same spot, but will still be alive. How can scientists explain that? That how come same impact, same spot, same bullet, same pressure, but the other one is dead and the other one is alive? How
Well,
can they explain that? Okay.
well, it's
Yeah.
there's something called probability. Have you heard about probability? Do you know what probability is?
Yes, I know probability.
Okay, so there's an extremely high chance, high probability that if you take a bullet to the brain that you will die. Not gonna lie, it's very high probability. However, we have had instances in which people have survived that, and it sounds like your friend, or was it your friend, your family member,
Yeah, I know.
or this person that you know of that this happened to. It sounds like they were very, very fortunate, very lucky. That doesn't explain that God is real, though, because again, we can look at probabilities and demonstrate that, not everybody who has taken a bullet to the brain has died. There people have survived it. So that doesn't mean God is real.
Exactly, but that's the grace of God. Because
Well, how do we know that
it's
though?
not-
But again, how do we test that? How do we test that it's the grace of God?
It's pretty simple, because if you look at those people, they'll tell you that they prayed before, they prayed after, or something happened. Like nothing, even if you say a probability, like more like 50-50 chance, that can't be possible, because a brain is a brain. We all have same brains. It's not like I have a blue brain, he has a red brain, or whatsoever. We have the same brains, same organs in our body, same things, same nerves, same
Right.
medulla oblongata.
Right, but
shot
you
in the
understand that
system.
the bullets don't hit the same exact spot in the brain, right? So they can go into
not-
different
not
places in the brain, and it's not always fatal.
precisely.
Yeah, so it can be, and even if it's
Yes.
off by just a millimeter, that could mean the difference between life and death in some cases. So that doesn't mean anything. Like, here's another example. I have a friend. Do you know who Steve Irwin is? He was like he was like a zoologist from Australia.
No.
Okay. Well, he was a zoologist from Australia. He was popular on TV. I don't know if he probably didn't show him on TV in South Africa, but he showed him here in the United States a lot, and in Australia, of course. But he was a very popular zoologist. I think that's what he was. But he would do educational shows on animals, right? And then he did videos like on social media later in his life. Well, he got stabbed by a shooting spine from a manta ray, a stingray, and it just hit him perfectly in a spot where it hit one of his major arteries in his chest, and then he pulled it out and then bled out and died on pretty much instantly. I had a friend who received that same injury in the exact same spot, and he survived it, and but he was in a coma for months, and but he made it through. But see, he was one of the lucky ones, because a lot of times if you get stabbed, if that major artery gets punctured, that's it, you're done. And he just happened to survive it. There's a very, very low survival rate for that, and he was one of the lucky ones. And that's what I mean, is that, but that doesn't mean that a God is real because somebody survived that. That doesn't follow. It just doesn't mean anything.
Okay, so in other words, you're saying it's luck, or he was fortunate enough to survive.
Right. But see, the thing is, if you're saying, well, that's God's will, or that was God doing that, well, how do we test that? And that's what I'm not hearing from you. How would we test whether or not God was responsible for my friend surviving and Steve Irwin not surviving?
Okay, so here's my question: how would you like to test that God isn't real or not real?
Well, we should be able to test it just like for example, we can test, we can run a test. Would you agree that we could run a test whether or not my wife exists?
Which is
Right?
what I'm saying, right? Is you what do you want in your life to happen, and see in a week that won't happen. That's what I'm trying to say to you, because God works in mysterious ways. So what I'm
Well, if
saying
he
to
works
you
in
is
mysterious ways, how
to
do we know he
verify,
works at all, though?
verify.
That's the thing. How
Yes,
do you
so
know
to
he
answer
works at
your
all?
question,
Well, see, here's the
that's my
thing.
point exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, one problem
my
with that, Miss Lepora, is that we actually have done a scientific experiment on this, on prayer, and we found that it's no better than a coin flip. So they compared the results of a prayer. They just asked for two things. You know, either one. It was like a binary of one, right? Of something happening, like. And what they found was that prayers work about 50% of the time, maybe a little bit higher, 53% of the time, but it's equivalent to a coin flip. So that doesn't tell you that prayer works. It can just be random.
So who determined that prayer works 50% most of the time? Scientists?
Yeah, it was a scientific experiment conducted. So that's what the scientific experiment demonstrated. So, they looked at, thousands and thousands of cases of people praying, and then saw if they got what they asked for and then not. And then they looked at other cases where people didn't pray and were hoping for a better outcome. And then those people either got the outcome or they didn't. And it was the exact same percentage.
Okay,
Maybe a little bit better for prayer, like 0.01% better, but like not statistically relevant. So that's what I mean, is like, if you can't tell the difference between somebody praying and them getting the outcome and then somebody not praying and then getting very, very similar results, how does that demonstrate that God is real?
Oh, that demonstrates perfectly well, because your blessing comes to you in your time. Doesn't mean if I pray today and you don't pray and you get blessed tomorrow, doesn't mean that God loves you more and doesn't love me at all. It means that my time is coming for me to be blessed, and your time has arrived regardless of if you prayed or if you didn't. But what matters more is faith, which is what I'm saying to you, right? That to verify that 50% probability, like you said it earlier, what would you like for God to do for you in a week? And if that doesn't happen, right?
Well,
I myself, as Sipho Watonga from South Africa, I will not worship God anymore.
all right.
Which is what I'm saying.
Let's pray.
To you.
Let's pray to have
Yes,
God
which is what I'm
heal.
saying
Let's
to
God pray to give me 20/20 vision, because I wear glasses. So let's pray. Let's pray. How about you pray for me to have God give me perfect eyesight?
you. Now, I will definitely pray for you, but
Okay.
what matters more is faith in you. I do have faith. I always have faith.
Right.
I had faith that.
Well, I don't need to have
HIV
faith. You
will
just
be
have to have
nothing.
faith. Yeah. If you have faith that God
Which is
will make my eyes perfect, then that's all we need. I don't need faith.
So today is on the 9th of April, right? On the 19th, let's say next week, Thursday, right? Thursday, I'll come back to you.
Okay. So
And we'll
on
see if-
April
if-
16th at this time, come on back,
Yes.
and then we'll see if my eyes are perfect. Which is great, because I've got an optometry exam coming up too, and we can test it because I wear glasses, so I should be able to see I see better without glasses on when I'm looking at the screen, but I can't see far away. But if I put my glasses on, it's really, really fuzzy, like when I look at my screen. So we should be able to tell right away whether or not it worked.
Definitely. And,
All right.
and let's hope on that day you won't say scientifically it was supposed to help you because
Oh, I'll
this and
believe
this.
if that happens, I'll believe it more. Yeah, because that would be evidence.
Definitely, because if I can beat HIV, people can beat cancer. Some can beat a car accident and come out with no scratch. Some can beat so many things. Some things are quite smaller to the grace of God, which is
Yeah.
what I'm saying is no matter what, with faith, nothing is impossible.
I mean, because you said nothing's impossible. Yeah, I hear that. Okay. Well, do you have anything else,
Now
Ms. Lepora?
you can say what you want. You can say whatever you want to say.
No. I think I'm done, unless you have any other evidence. But otherwise, we can probably just stop here, and then you can come back next week.
Yeah, which is why I'm saying my evidence or people's evidence is our testimonies. So when you ask for evidence from us to basically be our testimonies, because there's no scientific way that can explain that someone can beat cancer, that there's no cure, there's no vaccine of it, but someone can beat cancer just like that. But some have failed for years and years and years.
Right. But again, we can't tell if it's just them, because people have spontaneously cured from cancer. That there have been cases that have happened, and with no prayer involved. So again, we can't tell the difference between if it was the prayer that did the job or if it was something else that did the job, or, you know, because sometimes bodies naturally heal of things. It happens rarely, but it happens. And that's what I'm trying to understand is we have nothing to distinguish it. And you haven't given me really, well, I mean, you kind of gave me a test with my eyesight, but I mean, yeah, but we'll just have to wait a week.
No problem, sir. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
All right. Have a good day.
Have a blessed night.
All right.
Thank you.
So I think this will be like the 5th time someone's prayed to restore my eyesight to 2020. And we'll see. I'm not optimistic, you know. But
I missed that.
you missed that?
Yes, I just had a call with the Medicaid office, and I got approved for Medicaid, which is amazing. Considering my
Congratulations.
hospital visit the last weekend, that's going to be
Yeah.
covered, which is
Good.
amazing.
That's amazing. Yes, that's great.
Yeah, thank you, RAGZ. But so I am kind of glad that I missed the prayer.
Yeah. Well, he didn't actually pray. He just said
Oh, okay.
what he said, tell me something you want to see happen in a week. And I was like, my eyesight. Okay. I couldn't really think of anything. So that's just what I came up with. I just happened to see my glasses sitting there and I'm like, okay, let's just try that. And
Oh,
yeah.
fair.
yeah, I mean, that's a pretty easy test, right? I mean, if I put these glasses on and everything's fuzzy, then that's pretty much an indicator, like suddenly fuzzy. That's pretty much an indicator that
I just
prayer
want to
works.
know, like, why when I did that with my liver disease, it never worked.
I hear that. I
My
considered
kids
saying,
and their
"Hey,
parents
Amber,"
do that
you know,
with cancer. Yeah, right.
right.
I know.
But I
am
didn't want to
now.
like minimize your condition and all that stuff, you know. I didn't want to like make a
Oh,
mockery
but
of it.
yeah, no. If you ever like want my opinion or want me to put my 2 cents in because of stuff like that, I'm more than happy
Okay,
to,
I got you.
because that
All
was
right.
a big part of my deconstruction.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, so okay, I'm glad we like, I'm glad I understand that better, right? Because I, of course, don't want to, you know, make a mockery of anybody's condition, you know, and sometimes that can be sent, you know, yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, I appreciate
or make an
you being
example.
cognizant of that, but
Hmm.
I'm very open about
Okay.
like my surgeries and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, and you know what? You guys heard it. So, if any Christians in here, if you think that God is real, well, I mean, you have a test case right here. Let's here's a test case. And the thing is you don't have to believe. I mean, I've gone over this before. You know, Ember doesn't have to have faith. You do, as the believer, because it happened many times in the Bible where the person doing the praying had the faith, and the person receiving the prayer, receiving the benefit, didn't have faith, you know. So Peter raising people from the dead, you know, dead people didn't have faith, right? So no, you don't have to have faith. So cite me the verse in which the person receiving the benefit from the prayer has to have faith. So you have to demonstrate that, because according to John 14 verses 12 through 14, it's, if you ask anything in my name, you will have it. And so it's, if you're praying for Ember, you're the one asking in Jesus's name, not Ember. So you're the one that has to have faith, and you only need faith, but the size of a mustard seed, right? And I don't think, and this is the other funny thing, I don't think Christians know what a mustard seed is.
Yeah,
would
do you
be-
still have that bag of mustard?
Yeah. Let me go get it. I'll be right back. It's in the pantry. I'll be right back. But
Mustard
but yeah,
seeds are.
I can tell you, I bet you none of them do. I'll be right back.
Bum bum. Hey. Keep tapping the screen, y'all. We're almost at 25K likes. So let's quick tap on the screen. There's 145 people in here, which is amazing. I love it. Love seeing you all in here. Long press the screen to repost. Share to between 1 to 5 people. If not, copy the link 5 times. I learned today from Nicholas that helps the algorithm as well. So yeah, go ahead and do those things. Join the Discord. That link is in Trust's bio. We have a good time.
Okay.
We're going to do a movie this weekend, either Princess Bride or the original Jumanji. So we are voting on that. I did another poll. So please go vote for either Bryden is next to me saying, "Oh, I'll go do that."
Oh yeah, I got to vote too. I
Yeah,
forgot
and
about
vote
that.
for either Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, and then we'll pick a specific time once we know. But go ahead.
Oh no worries. Okay, so these are a bag of mustard seeds, so you all know I'm not capping. It's right there. So that is a mustard seed. I don't know if you can see that between my fingers. You can probably barely see it. Okay, don't spill the mustard seeds. Maybe I can do it this way. Yeah. That, see, you can't even see it. That's how small it is. But it's like that big. Oh, there we go. That's a little better. Oh, I just lost it. Went down my sleeve.
Yeah,
That's how small it is. Yeah, that's how small it is. That's how much faith you need. According to Matthew, the book of Matthew. That's how much you
I
need,
definitely had a lot more faith in that.
right? Yeah, me too. I have way more faith than that. And you had more faith and nothing. Nada, right? Not a thing.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I had way more faith than that. Nada. Not a thing. Didn't take my addiction away. Had to go through recovery, and didn't happen. And
Yeah,
so if you guys
definitely had
Right.
patience.
Yeah.
I had to get a transplant. I waited. I waited and waited to be healed, and the transplant was not healing.
right.
That was brutal and excruciating pain to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me 2 years because of, so I have never been in, can we say addiction, a schmiction?
I just said it. I think you can. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've had the physiological dependence on 2 prescriptions because of the pain, and it took me 2 years to get off of those. Incidentally, it only took me a couple months after I separated from my ex-husband, but that was a fascinating turn of events.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Yes, but God could have fixed that. And I had a ton of faith, and nothing changed. I had to change my situation.
Yeah, and we have lots of correlative evidence that lowering your stress levels helps your body heal. We have lots of correlative evidence of that. So for people saying that Ember needs faith, Mark chapter 7, verses 31 through 35, Jesus heals a deaf man brought to him by others. The text emphasizes the friend's request, not the man's faith. Mark chapter 2, the paralyzed person is lowered through the roof, and Jesus heals him after seeing their faith, the friends, not the person who is paralyzed. Luke chapter 7, verses 11 through 17. That's when Jesus resurrected the widow's son. and there was no expression of faith. John chapter 11, Jesus raises Lazarus, and we both know Lazarus didn't have faith because he was dead. So, no. Acts 3, chapters 1 through 10, and this is, Peter heals the beggar at the temple. No demonstration of faith. So, so that's cope. That's cope to explain why, because prayer should work every time. And it doesn't, because somebody said in the comments, this isn't a genie. Well, that's not what your Bible says. Your Bible basically depicts God as a genie. Anything you ask for in my name, it shall be done. So, can't really say that.
Asked in his name. I read the Bible all the time. I prayed 5 Bible verses. I had people pray with me and for me and pray over me and lay hands on me and all of these things, and nothing ever changed. So there's that.
There's that. So, so this is your chance. I mean, you've got 2 people that you could change the minds of right now. So, who's willing to come up and pray? And you could pray to have my eyesight restored. You could pray to have Ember's liver restored. I mean, this is easy. It's funny. I had I don't know if you were here for this, but this was several months ago. Ember.
Fix my Crohn's. My liver's okay now, but fix my Crohn's.
There we go. Fix the Crohn's. Yeah, there we go. Fix the Crohn's. But I had a person who was I had an amputee, person who had an amputated limb, and he was one of my guests, and I was like, hey, if anybody wants to come up and pray for his limb to grow back, come on. And chat went silent. Everybody was chirping. As soon as I said that, nobody wanted to come up. So I said, all you need is but the faith of a mustard seed. That's all you need.
Yeah, and there's a documentary about teen mania that was around in the 80s through the 2000s. And there was someone on there who I believe they went on a list to check, and they all as a group were supposed to pray, and they did, over this guy to have his leg grow back. And because his leg never grew back, all of the teenagers had guilt for ages that they must not have had enough faith. They must not have, done enough to get his leg to grow back, because they were told by the leaders of the group of Teen Mania that if they had enough faith, they could move mountains.
Yeah.
And they could make the limb regrow.
Exactly. And I mean, it says it all over your Bible. Do you guys want to start in the Old Testament? We'll move to New, because, we can do this. But here, let's just put a whole bunch of verses in, and you guys can see, because this is this is interesting, because it's like we're putting conditions on this, and it's pretty clear that it's unconditional. Well, maybe this one isn't conditional. This one has something to do with fear. But it says it all over the Bible. But we'll go from Old Testament to New. And
just a heads up, we do have a few people waiting.
Oh yeah. Thank you. But I want to do this real quick, because because this is because those who are saying God's not a genie, well, it's not what your Bible says. So I think some people need to read their Bibles instead of being here chirping. You need to be reading the Word, because you clearly don't know what it says. All right, we'll just start with that for now. So we'll just start with these. Okay. All right. So I just put a whole bunch in here. Psalm 37, verse 4. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. So Was that the desire of your heart, Ember?
Yes.
Okay. And it wasn't like you were asking for $1 million. You were just like, just
Yeah, no. And I was like, I was
fucking
on
make me
fire
healthy.
for Jesus. I was on fire for God. Like, my delight was in the Lord.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Same. Psalm 145. The Lord is near to all who call on him, to all who call on him in truth. He fulfills the desire of all who fear him. So that's one condition. So I fear the Lord. He also hears their cry and saves them. Wow. Also hears their cry and saves them. A lot of parents pray for their kids to be healed from cancer, their babies to be healed from cancer. God doesn't hear their cry and save them. Think babies with cancer don't cry? Jeremiah 33 verse 3, call to me and I will answer you and will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known. See, there should be no atheists. There would be zero atheists, because are you telling me that atheists have never ever called and asked us and have them tell us great and hidden things that we have not known? It says it right there. Matthew 7, chapter 7, verses 7 through 8. Ask and it will be given to you. Search and you will find. That's what we're doing. We're searching. Haven't found. Knock and the door will be open for you. That's what we're doing, knocking. For everyone who asks receives, and everyone who searches finds, and for everyone who knocks, the door will be opened. And that was Jesus saying that. So that's not true. Luke 11. Say to you, ask and it will be given to you. Search and you will find. The same thing. Knock and the door will be open to you. For you. For everyone who asks receives. Everyone who searches finds. Everyone who knocks, the door will be open. That's a copy from Mark, but you guys get the point. Matthew 18. Ask again. I truly tell you, if two of you agree on earth about anything you ask, it will be done for you by my Father in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there among you. So if 2 of you agree on earth about anything you ask, it will be done for you by my Father in heaven. So that's all you got to do. I mean, this is such a low bar. And then my favorite one, John 12 through 14. John 14, 12 through 14. Very truly, I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do, and in fact will do greater works than these, because I am going to the Father. I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. Didn't work for me. If in my name you ask me, for anything, I will do it. So what's this noise about? God's not a genie. Anything. What does that mean? Anything. So with that, let's bring up another guest. All right. Mr. Wilmoth. How you doing?
Hi. Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
Yes. 36 and he, him.
All right. Fantastic. And which God do you believe in?
I don't. I'm sorry. You were just Alexa, stop. You were talking about a study with the prayer study, which was important in my deconstruction. And
Okay.
the study actually isn't that it's a coin flip. It is that there were 3 groups who were getting heart surgery, and they put half the people were prayed for by strangers. Or sorry, not half. A third were prayed for by strangers. A third were not prayed for by strangers, and a third were told that they were prayed for by strangers.
Ah, that's the
And
control. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. So the groups that were told fared worse. They said it's probably anxiety, because they knew that if it's so bad that they're getting prayed for by strangers, they anticipated that they were going to perform worse. And then the other groups performed the same. So if they weren't told whether they were prayed for by strangers, or if they weren't prayed for by strangers, they did the same.
Yeah. And what was the percentage of like success between the other 2 groups that performed about the same? Do you
It was
remember?
around 53%.
Yeah, about 53%. Yeah, it was about a coin flip. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but
But
saying
I
it's a coin flip
mischaracterized. You're
means,
right.
like,
I
if
did
you pray for 'em-
mischaracterize it. Yeah, you're right. I did mischaracterize it, but Yeah. Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah.
Yep. And
Mhm.
thanks for all you do. So I'm gonna drop down now. So.
Yeah. Thanks for clearing that up. Appreciate you.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. So that's
should've-
the study I was talking about.
Said that. Daniel talks about that study sometimes, and it is really interesting that they actually fare worse.
Hmm.
If
That
they
is
know
interesting.
that they are being prayed for.
Yeah.
So maybe all of y'all who pray for us in chat should stop. Thanks.
Yeah. Exactly. Or just don't tell us. Yeah. Don't tell us. Just do
Exactly.
it silently.
Don't
Fucking
it.
tell
Like,
us. Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell us you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Go
Yeah.
into your closets, like it says, and pray in secret.
Exactly. Just pray in secret. Okay. So if you are in the queue, please be at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and have evidence that God is real. So go to the next guest. Adi Clips. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
Yeah, I am 24. I am a he.
Okay. Thank you. And which God do you believe in?
So yeah, I guess the closest, I guess I would say I don't really identify as any religion, but I would say
Okay.
I believe in God, and I would
All
say I
right.
believe in Jesus as well.
All right. Is Jesus Christ your personal savior?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What is your best evidence that God is real?
So I feel like a lot of the times people think of God as some guy in the sky. Obviously, his son came to Earth. He was also in some way God, but
Oh, wait a
actually,
minute. You said obviously his son came to earth? How do we know that?
no, I mean obviously that is believed, is what I was trying
Okay.
to
Okay.
refer to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
yeah.
All right. I'm with you.
But a lot of times in the Bible, it talks about God in a way where it's like, he is everywhere. He's omnipresent. He is all powerful. All these things. So it's not some guy in the sky. It's more involved than that. It's not you can't look in the clouds and find some kingdom of heaven and find God and all that stuff.
Okay.
As far as evidence, I think we have to think about, I'm kind of curious, how do you think the world came into being?
The laws of physics, specifically gravity. Like you mean the world as in the earth or the world as in our reality? Like the
Our
universe?
reality. Yeah, our reality.
Yeah, well, we have evidence that the universe has always existed. And so we also know that this world, this universe, operates within the laws of physics. So, anything that was quote unquote created or began within the universe was according to the laws of physics, including the earth and the sun and the planets.
Okay, so you think it's maybe eternal or infinite or something like that?
Yeah. So no beginning, no end, the universe. Yeah. That's the evidence we have.
Right. So I think for me, I feel like there would either have to be some unmoved creator, or it would
Okay.
have to go back infinitely, right? Throughout time.
Yeah.
So either of those kind of ideas still points to something being infinite, which is kind of also how we. What you're saying that it would have to go, it would be eternal.
Mhm.
The creation.
Yeah.
Right.
Time is eternal. Space is eternal. Space has always existed. Time has always existed. Energy has always existed. Gravity has always existed. You could even argue that matter has always existed because of the different fields in the universe. But that's less, that's more debatable, I would say. I don't believe that as much, because we have also evidence that, like atoms are created and stuff like that. But yeah, because scientists have discovered that there are just all kinds of different fields that, that make up our reality. And, and they've seen like particles, pop into and out of existence because of interactions with energy in these fields. So, but they don't know if it, if the particles have always existed or if they're being created there, right on the spot. That they don't know. So that's more up in the air to me. But we have more evidence that, like I said, time, space, energy, gravity have always existed.
Yeah, so if it's always been, it's eternal, it's infinite in some sense.
Yeah,
Like in the
infinite.
Bible, it talks about how basically all of creation, that we are made in the image of the Creator, and that the creation is made, it's all in the image of the Creator. So that's
right.
infinite. The understanding that this creation is eternal, or has always been, is infinitely has been existing. That infinite creator that's a reflection of that of the world we see around us. If we believe it's infinite, that is a reflection of that infinite creator, is kind of how I would put that in some sense.
Yeah, I think what you've just said, you've just kind of re-explained what the Bible says. You've kind of remixed it, which is fine. I'm trying to understand though where the evidence is for that. How do you know that's true?
Yeah, so that was kind of one of my.
Give me a second. I got to take a call. Ember, you want to take over, or you guys can just hang out? It's fine. Give me a sec.
I am so sorry. I have been focused on chat, so we'll just wait a second. Let's see. While we are waiting, let's quick tap on the screen to get to 50K. Really appreciate it, y'all. We have 157 people in here. Super happy about that. I may have been in the YouTube chat as well, and being a bad mod right now. I am hyper. So, but we've been having a good conversation. Thank you everyone for being here. We appreciate you. If you could just be patient, thank you. I don't know if is it Addy or is it Addy?
Addy.
Addy, okay. Yeah, thank you for being here. We appreciate it, and thanks for your patience. And yeah, everybody keep tapping and keep engaging. Thanks.
Right. Thanks. Sorry about that, Ember and Addy. I had to handle something real quick. Okay, sorry. So thanks for waiting. All right, where were we?
Yeah, so basically my kind of my first point is kind of that so this infinite this eternal existence it either had to arise from some unmoving mover, or for it to be eternal. So logically, so either of those explanations, the first one is very obviously describing God. That's kind of how lots of philosophers and theologians describe God, as an unmoving mover, kind of first cause. And then the second way, if we describe the creation itself as eternal, then as infinite, then that also kind of indicates that there's some sort of infinite creative process, or infinite kind of something that which is infinite, which is occurring here within creation, which is also a reflection of that creative aspect of creation. So that's kind of would be kind of a first kind of, maybe it's not a verification, but it's kind
an
of
argument. It's a logical argument.
Yeah, it's kind of an argument based on logic. So, and then I guess the other way which I would kind of explain this stuff is through mysticism, that basically all kind of religions, not just Christianity, but have certain things in common which lead to these mystical experiences, which people describe, and which people attribute to God or to different religious practices, because they arise out of those practices which they do. So those are kind of two of the biggest kind of reasons that biggest evidences that, or logical arguments that I use for the existence of.
Okay, I gotcha. So I guess where I'm at is that, like the first, because this sounds like it's the first mover argument, which, was first Aristotle, then Aquinas, right? And like the first mover argument, that's like that, like they had no idea what physics was at that time, right? So that's been kind of supplanted by what we know from modern physics. We know from modern physics that, you know, things like inertia, you know, there is no like required first mover. Like things can move on their own. You know, so if that's the case, like that's been supplanted by modern physics and like quantum systems, we've demonstrated that things, you know, pop in and out of existence, move on their own, you know, without any type of, you know, like propellant, you know, like internal propellant, like things just kind of move by themselves. So
okay, could you maybe explain that a little bit more? Because I always thought or understood that, you know, the science has, you know, maybe measured a few billion light years, has been able to observe, you know, as far as the observable universe, a few billion or trillion light years or whatever it is across, and has only gone back maybe 14 or so, or 14 trillion years, I think.
14 billion
So
years, yeah. Like 13.8 billion
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
And that's like the first light, right? As they've put the age of the, you know, like they can only go back 13.8 billion years. How is it that the universe has always existed? I think that's what you're asking.
Well, no, I guess, I mean, it could, I guess what I'm trying to pose is if that were the case, then what would you explain was happening before that? What was your opinion on that?
Well, I don't know. And, you know, and I think any physicist would tell you, we don't know. What they can tell you is that the evidence that they have is that the Big Bang was an event. It wasn't the start of everything, right? And what they can also tell you is, like I said, there's evidence for, you know, there's evidence that, like, especially in a quantum system, like where, you know, if the universe is the, you know, is the, the word's escaping me, but it's like the manifold that holds everything else. And they know that the universe kind of evolves, you know, consistently. And things like energy have always, you know, they have evidence that all energy's been around, which, you know, which the universe is comprised of. Gravity has always been around, which the universe is comprised of. Space, which is the universe is comprised of. It's a, you know, it's a dimension. Time is a dimension that's always been around. You know, that's how they know, or that's what they say. That's what they can say is, okay, then we can say that the universe has always existed. Now, are they saying it's a done deal? That's 100% guaranteed that the universe existed? No. What they're saying is, we have evidence that it did, and the Big Bang says nothing about the beginning of existence. You know, a consensus of physicists say that. But yeah, there's nobody that can tell you that what happened before that. And, you know, and to be honest, you know, believers can't either. You can't tell us what happened before that, except God created, but how?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I really like, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think the essence of it is that, right, the science can't, first we can understand that the science can't explain that, which is what you're saying. You don't know. And that's part of the scientific process, is that there are things which we don't know. And so the scientific method is used to try and
correct,
figure out what is there.
Well, and you would also agree that at one point, you know, science didn't know how lightning was created. Science didn't know how clouds were created and rain, and science didn't know how earthquakes happened. They didn't know how volcanoes erupted, but science figured all that stuff out. And all of those things were attributed to gods at one time, right? When civilizations first started. You know, people like, you know, in the Aztec Empire, they were sacrificing people to their gods, you know, throwing them in volcanoes and stuff in the hopes that they would have better crops, rain for their crops and all this other stuff, right? But we don't do that anymore because we know that's not true. And, you know, and you probably look at somebody sideways if they're talking about wanting to sacrifice, you know, their oldest daughter so that they could have better crops, right? You know, we'd probably want to put them in jail. Yeah. So we just know that's not true. And so, you know, like I said, science has figured all this stuff out. Now, am I saying then that, you know, that there's no possibility of a God? No, I'm not saying that either. I'm saying that the possibility of a God, it seems to be much lower than, say, scientists figuring out what happened before the Big Bang. I would say that.
Yeah, so I guess I also think about it like this sometimes, that if there's that Big Bang, that first occurrence, well, you can kind of think about, well, what happened before that, and then if you identify that, what happened before that, and before that, and logically you could kind of continue that into infinity, kind of like how you were saying that the universe might be infinite. So that infinite that conception, that we can conceptually conceive of this concept we call infinity, that concept of the infinites, which we can also ascribe to this word that we call God, or there's other terms in other religions that are used. That infinite essence, that's kind of, I think, where believers, where we're calling upon, where we're calling onto that infinite thing. And so for me, that's kind of an evidence, just as there's many things that we observe in nature that are, things have different qualities, like something can be very hot, something can be very cold, something can be hotter, something can be colder. If you continue that on into the infinite extremes, there's a scale of everything in existence and in the universe. And the philosophers, what they called God, very simply and beautifully, instead of calling him some guy in the sky, they called it the highest good. So when in the Bible it's talking about grace and blessedness and all this stuff, it's talking about that internal experience of what do you call that, bliss or grace or peace or joy. That to the highest extent is that experience of God, that we become partakers in that divine nature, which changes people, or so they experience. So I think, like, really for me, the biggest probably thing is the mystical experiences of people. And
you did mention that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the background is kind of that conceptual, that idea that we can conceive of something infinite, and that's the beginning of the universe is still kind of shrouded in mystery.
Okay, so have you heard of it's called an argument from ignorance?
That sounds familiar, but you'll have to remind me.
Essentially, what it means is, so since things are shrouded in mystery, we can't explain everything, then that means that there has to be a God, because we can't explain everything. And so that's kind of a fallacy, because again, at the beginning of civilization, they could not explain volcanoes, earthquakes, lightning, thunder, all that stuff. They couldn't explain any of that, but now we can. So just because we can't explain something doesn't mean that a God is responsible for it. Does that make sense? Appeal to ignorance. Totally. Excuse me. Yeah. Argument from ignorance, appeal to ignorance. Yeah. It's probably appeal to ignorance. I think I said it wrong. Yeah. It's called appeal to ignorance.
Yeah, I think it's more I don't think I'm necessarily appealing to ignorance. I guess I would say more so that because of this kind of infinite regression, which we can see, because of this conception that we can intellectually, because of the fact we can intellectually conceive of this concept that we call infinity, and because we exist within this material world, and things always have a prior cause, that because of, we can logically conclude that there is always another prior cause ad infinitum. So like, you're very similar to like how you're saying that the universe is essentially infinite. That by virtue of it being infinite, that is mysterious in and of itself. That is where the mystery lies, the ignorance lies, not in the fact that we just don't know, but actually logically it is right now mysterious. Even according to scientists, they don't really know what is going on.
Well, if that's the case, then why is it logical that God is eternal?
Well, God would be eternal because if we're looking to the source of all that is, or the foundation, the ground of reality, whatever term, whatever semantics you want to use, then naturally that would also be eternal. It wouldn't disappear. Yeah,
all we're doing is we're just substituting universe for God for so we're just taking out the word God and we're inserting the word universe. The universe is the source and the foundation for everything. But you're telling me that doesn't make sense to you, but you're saying when the sentence says God is the foundation and source for everything, that makes total sense to you. But when you put the universe as the foundation and source for everything, that makes no sense to you.
No, I mean, I think it can, because in the Bible it explains that all of that the creation is made in God's image. So it's kind of like in some ways it's even kind of a panentheistic perspective, but it's not necessarily truly that. It's I think it's complicated. It's not simply described.
No. I'm not saying it's a simple matter. Yeah. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that that it's, I mean, that's just how you can wrap your head around it, right? Is say, well, why can't the universe just be always existing? Why can't there just be an infinite chain of causes? Why can't there be? It's weird to think about it. I'm not gonna lie, it's weird, but then people can't really explain why it's impossible or why it's can't happen.
Sorry, I didn't quite understand that last.
But I was just kind of responding to what you said about infinite regress or the infinite chain of causes. I was just merely saying, why can't there be an infinite chain of causes?
No,
why does it have to start with something? Yeah.
No, I think like that is one possibility, that it could just be that infinite chain of causes.
Yeah.
And that infinite chain in and of itself that stretches infinitely into the future and infinitely into the past.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that infinite. That's what I call a God, really. That's what I think the God of the Bible is, because he's talking about, he's completely transcendent. It's something beyond our understanding. All these things. I think that's what God is, and I think that.
And that's fine. You can call it that. Yeah, that's fine to call it that. But what I'm asking for is, how do you know that's true? That's what I'm
right. And so to kind of bring it down more to earth a little bit is, I think that because of its nature being infinite, I think that in some way we are in some way it exists within all of us, and so that when we call upon God or that infinite thing, that infinite energy, whatever you want to say, that those in Orthodox Christians, they kind of have an energies essence distinction. So we can't literally become that infinite chain of causation, that's kind of perplexing thing, but we can participate in those energies by our kind of direct experience. So in my mind, it's the thousands of years of seekers and saints and mystics and all those people of all the religions who have had these direct experiences of that nature, that's kind of what kind of brings it down a little bit more to earth for me.
Okay. And what of the people who haven't had no experiences? Because we have a lot of people who have had zero experience with something, some type of higher power. So what do we do with that?
Yeah. So for me, I feel like, like we can look at this, for example, you can look at this by examining kind of other aspects by examining other things. So like, for example, let's look at soccer. Like a bunch of soccer players, let's say there's a bunch of soccer players who want to become a professional soccer players. They want to achieve that highest proficiency in that. They want to experience what it's like to be a professional soccer player. But not everybody is going to get to that highest state. But there are going to be plenty of people who are going to be pretty proficient, and there's plenty of people who do experience a lot of grace, a lot of bliss, and people who are become really fanatical about it. They experience tons of it, and they become fanatical, and they become saints or teachers.
That's a lot of factors in that, though. We're talking about is, ability does not equate to knowledge, right? And what we're talking about is knowing that God is real. That's an epistemological claim, right? And that what would be something more on par with that is knowing that somebody's mother is real, right? And so, yeah, I agree with you in terms of soccer or, you know, any type of sport. Two people could train equally, you know, do the exact same routines, the exact same drills, the exact same workouts, and likelihood is they'll get different results, you know, because their bodies are slightly different. You know, you even see it in twins. You know, identical twins don't even get the same results. So that's true. That doesn't translate over to what people know, right? Because then what you're basically saying is that one person would know their mother is real and their sibling wouldn't know their mother is real, right? Either you know or you don't. And there isn't really like a drill or, you know, some type of workout that you could do to do that. It's just acquiring knowledge. And how do we acquire knowledge? We acquire a lot of ways, but, you know, big one is observation. That's how we acquire knowledge. And we can't observe this God at all. And so if we can't observe the God, and, you know, there are people out there who have never observed it, can observe it. But then there's others who claim to have. Well, okay, we should be able to verify that they have observed it. And just like you can verify that you've observed your mother, right? You can give us all types of evidence for your mother, I'm pretty sure, right? That your mother is real. And, you know, you can just lay out, you know, you could probably list it on at least 5 or 6 different things. Yet when it comes to this God, who's supposedly a being, who supposedly interacts with this universe, who's, you know, I assume this God is made up of something, right? It's not made up of nothing, or else it wouldn't be a God. It has to be made up of something, and it interacts with this world. Like everything that we know of in this reality that interacts with this world is made up of something, and it follows the laws of physics, except this God, you know, so there just seems to be a huge exception for this God.
Yeah, so I tend to believe in a lot of the stuff regarding prayer and stuff like that, more in terms of, you know, I don't know if have you ever seen these like water experiments or these rice experiments?
Rice experiments?
Yeah, that sounds kind of vague, but do you understand, or have you heard of what I'm referring to?
I don't think I have. What is it?
Yeah, so basically, it's these experiments where basically all these people online, they take these petri dishes of rice. They take 2 petri dishes of rice, and they perform what you would maybe call a very, very extremely rudimentary scientific experiment, where they leave them out for 30 days, and they say "I love you" to one of the things of rice, and they say "I hate you" to the other thing of rice. And what it shows after 30 days is that the rice, which is receiving this positive energy, is very healthy looking and hasn't, you know, acquired mold and all of this different stuff, and the other one is really moldy. So you can look this up on YouTube all over. I don't know if there's any comprehensive peer-reviewed studies on it, but
Okay.
maybe you can find it out there. I haven't looked into it, but you can look into that.
Yeah, I think
But
they've done this
basically-
with plants. Yeah, like talking to your plants could be healthy and beneficial for it, or something like that. Yeah.
Right. So basically, it's that idea that thoughts, or you could say in this instance, is equivalent to prayer, somehow has some sort of effects upon reality. So I was kind of trying to address one of your points, but I want to also go back to. Now I'm kind of losing my train of thought a little bit because there were kind of 2 separate points there.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so we were talking about. So you were kind of equating your mom, the experience of your mom to like, is that the same as to like an experience of God? But I would say that, you know, it is in some ways similar, because it's maybe not directly an experience of God, but I think what happens is that we experience some grace, some feelings, some bliss, and we don't understand where it comes from. And so when there's all these teachings surrounding these ideas, we attribute it to some conception of God, which is trying to point at that mysterious thing, which we were referring to as that infinite thing that we were referring to earlier. So yeah, that's
I see, Amber. Well, because then what that would mean then is that you could have a you could have a spiritual experience regarding your mother, right? Like you could read some stuff about your mother, and your mother never showing her face, never being in your presence. Would that be the same as her actually being in your presence?
I'm sorry, could you say that one more time?
Yeah, like if you just read a book about that your mother existed, people told you that your mother existed, and everyone said, yeah, but your mom loves you. And you know that feeling you get, when say when you're a kid, when you get an A on your test and that good feeling you have, well, that's your mother. That's proof that your mother is real. Is your mother actually real?
Yeah, I guess it kind of comes down to the fact that like when me or another person experiences that feeling, we don't know, we don't understand how it arises. We don't understand how it occurs. So if you feel some feeling from your mother, thinking about your mother, you feel that love or whatever, then you understand, okay, you're thinking about your mother, you understand what's going on. But when something that is seemingly coming from the external happens within you, and it feels like you don't understand how it's arising, and there's all these philosophies and abstract ideas concerning it, and we live in this mysterious infinite whatever. So then it's kind of like, okay, you kind of put some of the pieces together, and you that kind of can suggest to you, okay, maybe
Okay.
some of these things are making sense.
Yeah, and I would say that's more of like an appeal to ignorance, because we don't understand this, we don't know where it comes from, and so it has to be, because what you're kind of saying is it has to be a god, right? And like, scientists know where emotions come from, where feelings come from. They've done studies on this. They've been able to pinpoint in the brain where it comes from, like what chemicals are involved in our bodies, what neurotransmitters do inside of our bodies when we feel a certain way, all kinds of stuff. And so like they know, like when you get anxious and your heart rate starts to climb, they know why, all that stuff. So and what we can't do though, is we can't find a source outside of the brain where emotions come from. Right. So if we can only find it inside of the brain, why would we think it would come from another source, like somewhere outside of that? It's not really mysterious. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think what I would also say onto that point is that
Start to kickball everybody.
To bring it more even down to earth a little bit more, is that these emotions, like these energies, we experience them materially within ourselves, and I don't think we necessarily need to separate that from God. And what I'm meaning by that is I think that God exists within physics, within all these. Within the scientific understanding, but
well,
he just works within
one point of clarification: are you starting with the premise that God exists, and so therefore God exists in all of these things, or like how are you, determining that God exists in all of these things?
Well, let me answer that, but I think really quickly, what I was trying to say is that this highest emotion that we can experience, this grace, this bliss, whatever you want to call it, is the experience of God. That's what always has been called by all the mystics, all the saints, that those simple emotions that science
throughout history before the scientists figured out what it was. Yeah. That's what I mean.
No, even after.
Well, yeah, after, but I'm saying science has figured out that's, that they have a different answer, and that's what I'm trying to get at. Is why did science not confirm what the mystics all were saying? They found another answer.
No, what I'm saying is that they agree, is that it works through the scientific methodology, but it's still there. That experience, that value which we give to those beautiful, blissful experiences, can work through the scientific method. It is a chemical still in our brain. The material world is real.
Right.
But how it, yeah.
But so mystics are saying it's coming from someplace else, and science wasn't able to determine that it comes from the brain.
No, it's both. It's both. I would say it's both.
But science has not determined that it's both. They only found it in the body, in the brain. Yeah, that's what I mean. And so, but you're saying, well, no, mystics are saying this, but scientists weren't able to verify that. That's what I'm trying to get at. Well, hey, listen.
No, that's totally true. Totally true.
All right. Well, hey, Adi, they have voted to move to the next guest, so I do appreciate you coming up, and it was a good talk.
Thanks so much, man.
All right, have a good one.
All right.
So that was about a 30-minute appeal to ignorance. We don't know, therefore God. mystics have been saying this. Yeah, they have. I totally agree with that. But we're trying to figure out what they're saying is true, right? That's what we're trying to do. But it was a good talk. Still a good talk. Okay. Multi-guest button. Come on up. There it is. All right, let's go to the next guest. Discerned Verindi. So if you're in the guest queue, please be at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, and have evidence that God is real. All right, Discerned Verindi, how you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Doing well. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
I am 43. I am he.
Okay. All right. And which God do you believe in?
I believe in the living God.
Okay. Which one is that?
The only one.
Okay. Which one is that?
It's the creator of all things.
Okay. Which one is that?
What do you mean?
There's several religions claim that their God is the creator of all things. So which religion is that from?
I don't subscribe to religion.
Okay. You don't subscribe to a
I
religion?
despise religion, in fact.
All right. So
I think religion is created by man to control man. And
Okay.
I don't approve of it.
Because I only want to talk to people who believe in either the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. So is your
I
God
believe in
fit
the
in any of those
Quran.
three? Any of those things?
Yes, yeah, he is. I am the burning bush. Yeah,
Okay.
God of
so
Moses, Abraham,
the
Isaac.
God of the Bible. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. All right. And what's your best evidence that God is real?
the fact that you just asked a question.
The fact that I asked the question? Okay.
Yeah, the fact you're like, here's what it is. Like, why look for evidence of something you don't believe exists in the first place?
How am I supposed to know if it exists if I don't look for evidence?
Everything that is evidence. Everything. Every blade of
Everything is
grass, every
evidence?
plant,
Okay.
everything
So
is
now
evidence.
you've demonstrated that every belief in every religion is true. The religion you despise, you've just demonstrated they're all true because they all say
No,
the same thing.
No.
Yeah. If
God-
everything
you have a-
everything is
you have a
evidence of
creation.
God, then nothing is evidence of God. That doesn't tell
You
me
have a
anything.
painting without a painter?
No, but we're not paintings.
No,
We
we're
know
a
how
creation.
how do you know that? What is your evidence of that?
You really want evidence?
Yeah,
you
that's
just
what my
looking at
question
this
is. That's what it says above my head. I want evidence. What's your best
You
evidence that God
are-
is real?
Evidence of the creator.
I don't
You
want
are-
evidence. I am evidence. But again,
You
how
are
do you know
evidence.
that? How do you know that?
How do you not know that?
Okay. It's not answering my question. How do you know what hallmarks or signatures indicate that that God created me?
Because you can think.
Okay. That doesn't
You
tell
can
me
reason.
anything.
You can communicate.
How does that demonstrate that God created me? Because I
How
can
does
think,
it-
I can reason. Scientists know why I can think and reason. It's the process of evolution through natural selection. So why did science come up with a different answer?
You're talking about Darwin's evolution theory.
It started with Darwin, but it's not Darwin's evolution theory. It's just the theory of evolution and natural selection and adaptation. It's kind of evolved since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything evolves, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Everything changes.
pretty
doesn't it?
much. Yeah. Organic things, at least. Maybe some inorganic things, but organic things, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still not clear on how that demonstrates that a God is real.
I don't understand how me and you having a conversation, being human beings, living, creating life ourselves.
Yeah, but we
Create
already
anything. How do we
know why
create
that
anything
is.
if we weren't created in the first place?
Okay, but that doesn't mean anything. Just because I can create doesn't mean I had a creator.
You exist because you had a creator.
Okay, but how do you know that?
Because you exist, period.
Okay, so I exist. I have a creator because I exist, and
Yes.
I exist because I have a creator. That's a circular argument.
What more do you want?
Something
There's your evidence.
something that makes sense, but that's not evidence. That's just a statement. That's just like saying. That's just like it's just like I
You
mean,
have a
you just
microphone in front of you.
okay. But I
Somebody
know how
made
the
that
microphone got there. Somebody created it, and then I bought it off
Somebody
Amazon,
created
and
the
it arrived at
microphone.
my house. Yeah.
You are here in front of me, and we're talking because you were
Okay,
created.
but that doesn't tell me anything. What makes you think that we were created? You're just saying because you were, but why? How do you know that?
Name one thing that exists that was not created.
One thing that exists that's not created: particles that come in through quantum fields. They aren't
They
created.
exist.
They
If it-
pop
if it
into and out of
exists-
existence, but they're not created.
They don't bump in and out of existence. They
Yeah, they do.
exist.
Yeah, they do.
So what is it? It exists 1 minute, don't exist the next. It
Yeah.
exists again.
Yeah, yeah. It pops into and out of existence. Scientists have observed this through different
If it
energy
observed it in
interacting through different
movement.
fields. Yeah.
They can't measure the movement.
Yeah, they can. I mean, have you taken a science class?
Yes.
Okay, which ones?
In fact, I can tell you this. I know what time truly is.
You know what is?
Time.
Time. You know what time
Yes.
truly is. Well, that's
You know,
interesting
when
because
Einstein's theory of relativity stated that time and space are one and the same thing.
correct.
Right.
That's true.
So without matter, without two objects, you cannot measure time. There's nothing to measure it against.
Not true.
That is true.
No, because you can measure time with events.
No.
You don't need
If you
need
just
matter
have
for
a
events to
single
happen.
thing, if you have a single dot in a page that's void, right? And in void is absent of space. So if you just have a single dot, you have no way of measuring it to know how long it's been there.
That's
There's
not true.
nothing to measure it against.
It's not true.
That is true.
No, there's way that they can measure how long it's been there.
I don't think you understand.
Yeah, you said. Did I hear a lighter?
Yeah.
Is that what that was? Okay. So,
How do you measure something if you don't have something to measure it against?
how do
How
you
do you
measure
measure
something if
distance?
you don't have something
How
to
do you
measure
measure
it against?
distance between point A and point B?
Yeah, that's all
You
great.
measure the space between the two, right?
Yeah. I'm not
Because
sure how
space
this
and
gets us.
time-
I'm trying to figure out
I'm
how
gonna
this gets us to
explain
God.
you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna explain to you.
All right.
If you got two objects, if you got one object by itself, you can't measure how long it's been there. It's unknown. A minute could be a millennia, or a second could be millennia. You have
That's
no
not
idea.
true. We measured like
Absolutely
how long
true.
the Earth's been here because the Earth was here way longer
The
than we
Earth
are.
was not by itself. It's not by itself. It has
Right.
other objects you can measure it against.
Right. And we've measured other things that were by itself. Like we've estimated
What was
the
by
age of
itself?
things. We've
What
measured
is
the
by
age of
itself?
things. Like
Nothing is by
particles.
itself anymore.
Particles. Like we've measured how
Particles-
long helium has been around.
Look,
We've measured how long
particles
hydrogen's
exist
been
with
around.
Other particles.
Yeah.
They're
But
not
we've
seen.
measured. Well, we know when hydrogen came into existence. We have a very good idea of that. We know we have a very good idea of when helium came to existence.
Look, I'm gonna tell you this. At the moment of the Big Bang, what existed inside that singularity?
Well, it wasn't a singularity. Number one, it was a very extremely hot dense state. They've gone away from singularity. That's like outdated language.
I don't agree with that. I think it was.
You don't agree with
singularity.
science? You don't agree with physicists?
Listen, it was a singularity. Here's what existed inside
Okay.
the singularity. You had light.
Look.
Look, you had light. You had matter. You had time, and you had space inside that singularity. Outside the singularity is void. Of
Not a
nothingness.
singularity. It's kind of like Janet from that show. Everybody, what's that show? Janet from that show about heaven. What was that? What's the name of The Good Place? Thank you. Not a girl. Not a singularity. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Discerned.
They have a theory.
They have a theory. Yes.
The
That is
best
true.
you got.
Like,
Right.
well, they got germ
You're
theory,
a
right?
science. You're a
you believe-
science. You go with science. That's a theory. That's the best we got, right?
Well, so far, yeah, until something else comes along, but that's the best way that we can know
So
things.
what was it in the beginning? You tell me.
What was it in the beginning? Well, I don't
Yeah.
believe there was a beginning. I think the universe has always existed. I mean, it's not hard to wrap your head around because you think God always existed, right?
He exists outside of our universe.
Okay. Well, just exchange God for universe.
No, no, no.
There
He
you go.
exists outside of our universe, not inside it.
Well, how can that be?
He is not. He is not affected by the physics and the laws of our universe. He's not.
How do you know
affected
that?
by it.
How do you know that though?
Because he created it.
He created it. How do you know that?
Because it wouldn't be here if he didn't.
Okay. Well, what did God use to create the laws of physics?
I don't know, but he made the laws of how the universe functions.
Okay. All right. But
You
he made the
wouldn't
laws of
play
how the universe
Monopoly.
function.
You wouldn't play Monopoly with somebody else's rules, would you? You would use the creator's rules to play Monopoly, right?
I have actually. We've actually made up our own rules for the Monopoly.
Well, I'm sure
Kind of
you
make it
did.
more fun. Yeah, it was kind of
People
fun.
do that, but no, it's, you don't do that, man.
Why not? I just told you we did. I'm just saying though that we don't have any evidence that God created the laws of physics. You're just saying he did. But how do we know God created the laws of physics? That's what I'm getting
If
at.
something exists, then it was created to exist.
So that means God was created. Who created God? Because God exists, right? God is something. And you said if something exists, it was created. So who created God?
God exists outside of our universe. That's
Okay.
unknown.
Okay.
I can't answer
we
that
don't-
question.
All right. Well, that's fair. At least you were honest about that. I'm trying to understand though, because we don't have any way to know if this God exists outside of our universe. So how do we know that he exists outside of the universe? You seem pretty sure of it, but we
Yes,
can't.
he created the universe.
Yeah, I know. You said that. I hear that. I'm trying to understand from you though, but you sound pretty confident that he did. Like, how confident are you? Like, give us a
I'm
percentage.
100%.
100%. Okay, 100%
100%.
sure.
Yeah.
And then, but you can't really point to anything that demonstrates that he did.
I point to you. You are the creation.
We're back to this. Okay. But then what about me demonstrates that God created me? We're kind of back to
Everything
this.
about you. Everything about you.
Everything about me. Okay.
Your smile.
Okay, but how does that demonstrate that God created me and is real? Because again,
He
we can
created
explain what
everything.
smiles are. We can explain them.
Yeah, we can explain those.
Yeah, we can explain
He
smiles.
gave you the ability to do that.
He gave me the ability to do that. Well, I'm just saying, how do we know that? Because you're just saying, well, he
Science is
created
simply-
everything. He created
Science
everything.
is simply man's way of understanding the creation. That's it.
It's explaining, but that's if you presuppose that it's a creation, but we don't know if it's a creation.
It's man's way of understanding the creation.
Yeah, but that's if you
That's it.
presuppose it's a creation. But I'm trying to
is a creation.
get from you, how do you know it's a creation in the first place?
It exists, therefore it was
It
created.
exists. Oh boy.
How does
Oh,
that
boy.
not compute? If something exists, it was created to
It
exist.
doesn't compute because we're just kind of going in a circle, because what you're saying is God created everything, and we know God created everything is because everything is here. And that's a big
That's it.
circular argument. And
That's-
it doesn't.
What else
yeah.
do you need? I mean, you're here, so you were created. to
What
be
we
here.
need is verification that God created everything. You're just
You
simply
have love
stating it.
in- Do you have love in your heart?
Of course, and scientists know where that come from.
Where does it come from?
Our brains. They know exactly
Our
like the
brain.
area of the brain it comes from. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like
what
how many
created that
people do you know who
complex
love without a brain?
mechanism? How many people don't have a brain?
Exactly. Exactly. So we have yet to find someone who can love without a brain. Like even animals. Like we found love in animals.
You hate without a brain.
Right. Can't do anything without a brain, right? That's what we mean. That's what I mean. It's like
You have
without a brain, there's no
so that
emotion.
You can love so that you can hate, so you can make those choices.
Yes. And we know it comes from the brain.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yep, that's it.
That's your evidence.
All right. Well, hey, discerned. I'm gonna move on to the next guest, but I appreciate you coming up. I
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate the cordial conversation. Yeah. All right.
for
Have a
having
good day. All right. Oh, I'm a little dizzy from going in circles so much. Ugh. But hey, at least it was like cordial and everything, you know? At least it was cordial and it was kind, you know? But it was just hard to go in circles anymore. Weren't really getting anywhere. All right. So, 6 people in the queue. So if you're in the queue, please be at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and please have evidence that God is real. Hint, just telling me that everything was created is not evidence that God is real. It's not very moving. It's not convincing at all. I'm actually surprised there wasn't a crash out. I'm actually surprised. And no, I haven't made up my mind, Klee. I have not. See, that would be intellectually dishonest to just say, I'm totally convinced that no gods exist. You cannot read my mind, Klee. You're not a mind reader. So even the most staunch atheist, if you ask them, is there anything that will change your mind? 99 times out of 100, they will say yes. All you have to do is provide evidence, Klee. That's all you got to do. If this is, it should be so simple for you. If this God definitely exists, there should be evidence. Easy. So just come up and provide evidence. Just tell me why you believe in this God. Either that or you don't have any evidence, and then I'd wonder why you believe in something that you have no evidence for. All right. Let's go to the next one. King J. And if God exists, he would know what evidence I need to be convinced. How's it going, King J?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, doing well, thank you. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
I am 45, she, her.
Okay, thank you. And which God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus Christ.
Okay. And what's your best reason for believing in Jesus Christ?
There is actual scientific evidence of actual stories in the Bible, things that happen because of God, so that's my main reason.
Okay. Did you have like mouth surgery or something? Like, did you go to the dentist recently?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I just wanted to be sure it wasn't, like, okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. I remember having like my wisdom teeth pulled and I sounded like that, so.
Yeah.
It's kind of tipped me off. Well, I can understand you, so it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So there's scientific evidence of stuff in the Bible. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's an example?
An example would be Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark.
Proof of that in Israel. There's a lot of proof in Israel, Jerusalem, Bethlehem. Like, there's a lot of proof.
Okay. So then that means Hinduism is true, right?
Another example would be when God told Lot that, his city, Sodom and Gomorrah, was going to be destroyed.
Okay.
And his wife turned back and got turned into sand, or stone.
Okay.
There's evidence of that.
Okay. So then that means Hinduism is true, right? Because they have scientific evidence of stuff that happened in the Bhagavad Gita. So we should be Hindus then.
No. I mean,
but
if you believe in that.
Well, but they have scientific evidence, right? So if they have scientific evidence of the Bhagavad Gita being true,
then yes.
Okay. But does that make the Bhagavad Gita true?
I'm sorry?
Does that make the holy book, the Bhagavad Gita, that Hindus use, that makes it true?
Well, it could be stories that happen, but the God is dead. It's not real.
God's dead? They don't believe that, though.
Well, it's true.
What year were you born?
No.
All right. Not 45. But thanks for coming up. I hope your dental surgery gets better. Sounds like you just got your wisdom teeth pulled. So, yeah. Oh, just got braces. Yeah, that could be it too. Yeah. 45 is a weird age to pick. Just say 19. Yeah. But even then, you can bust them on that too. All right. So again, okay, we got 4 waiting. So yes, again, please be at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and please have evidence that God is real. All right. To the next guest. Cyberdad. How's it going, Cyberdad?
Hello. Okay, I guess. And you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for asking. Could I get your age and pronouns, please?
Well, age is way over 21.
Okay.
And I don't use those pronouns.
You don't
but
use
I'm
pronouns?
male. Well, I not in that way as the LGBT uses pronouns. I'm male. In Finland, we have H, A with 2 dots, and N for both sexes. So we don't have he, she. We have only one pronoun in my country. We don't
okay.
see that.
Interesting.
In our culture, we don't see that strange thing happening.
So do LGBTQ people, do they, like a person who is non-binary, what pronoun do they use?
I don't actually know.
You don't know? Okay.
Well, they have to invent a new word because in our language it's kind of asexual. The
You don't have
pronoun
they?
you don't know.
You don't have they in
Well,
Finnish? Is it
yes,
Finnish?
we have he. It's a moni. It's the plural referring to some other people is also non-binary.
Okay. All right. But you don't use pronouns at all.
We use, but it's
Okay. And
non-binary.
so which one do people use to
asexual, non-binary.
Okay. And which one do people use to refer to you as? Like
If we say somebody, as you say, you, which is both
No, I meant
singular
you personally. Like when somebody talks
Me.
about you, what pronouns do they use when people talk about you? Like you're a Cyberdad, right? Like your children, for example.
just a concept in unknown. When I speak English, I understand the English and I think in English, and you got me there because I haven't fused the languages. This is my first foreign language, but I kind of can't translate. I'm not having a university degree in English, so I can't do translations that easily.
Okay.
I actually don't understand the questions because I
pretty damn good at English. You don't know whether or not they use like he, she, they, them. You don't know?
Yes, the he, she is hän in Finnish, and it's asexual. You can't determine if it's referring to a woman or man because it's same for both sexes.
Okay. All right.
That I know.
That
but otherwise it confuses me.
It confuses you. Okay.
Yes, because in English it's separate, but if you translate it in Finnish, you lose the information of the he, she referring to he, she. Then it's hän in Finnish.
All right. Well, I guess in that case, I'll just pick your pronouns. I guess we'll just do that.
Well, in English, you can say me as he.
Here we go. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Oh, all right. Cyberdad. Thank you for that. Which
but
God do you believe in?
That from that, you can see one of my favorite baby there in the avatar.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see that. All right.
Yeah, I have eight children between 2 and 4 years.
Fantastic.
But actually, they are fully grown. But
okay.
But
okay. Now, which God do you believe in?
I think that would be the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. What is your best evidence that God is real?
I wouldn't say best evidence is probably not enough for you. I would rather say that it's only scientific evidence would be DNA and a living cell.
Okay, DNA in the living cell. All right. How so?
Well, DNA contains information, and there's no chemical process which is natural and unguided, which would form something that has coded information that can be also translated in ribosome and with their transfer DNA to form proteins.
Why do scientists disagree with you?
Well, when they first found out the DNA, they should immediately know that there's some kind of creator. My little brother.
Well, why
is,
so?
There are no such processes. Mutation destroy information.
Okay.
It's quite obvious and clear.
I don't think so, because then if that's the case, why haven't scientists declared that DNA comes from God?
Oh, well, God, could be aliens.
Could be aliens, yeah. Well, you said it was it was evidence for God, yeah. Not aliens.
You asked what is your best evidence that God is real,
and you said DNA.
You probably, that best evidence. That's probably the one that you wouldn't accept anyway, but it is the best evidence that I have that God is real.
Oh no, I just want to hear the best evidence you have, like the one, like the strongest piece of evidence that makes you believe that God is real.
Yes, and the living cell, which really needs all the machinery there. It needs the DNA polymerase, helicase, and topoisomerase to unfold the DNA for copying, or the RNA polymerase, and then it needs the translation in ribosomes, because I had let's say that in the high school English all 10/10, and same with chemistry, physics, and biology, and then in the medical science I was studying then is cell biology, biochemistry, and microbiology, immunology, all those things from bacteria.
So you studied all that stuff, right?
I understand what happens in a cell, the simplest possible one, and I also know the tests where they're trying to reduce the machinery, and then the bacteria just die. You can't go beyond some basic machinery, so they have to all be there at once. So I think that some kind of creator. It doesn't have to be to you, the Judeo-Christian God. It could be anything.
Any God, a God,
only
right?
The best evidence that I have.
Okay, but you said some type. But if I hear what you're saying some type of there had to be a creator because of all of these things.
Yes, because it's no natural, unguided chemical process could produce the information nor the machinery.
Okay,
no way. It just doesn't work like that.
Okay, well, again, we have a large contingent of scientists who disagree with you. So I'm trying to understand.
They can disagree.
Yeah. Well, how did you figure out it's that, and they haven't figured it out yet?
Oh, they figure it out. They just desperately want to find the solution to that thing.
They want to Well, why so? Why would they hide that from people?
Because they are atheists. They don't go for the science. They go against it.
They go against science?
They can.
Yes. Well, why so?
Well, why not?
What do you mean, why not?
Evolution theory, which is completely wrong.
The theory of evolution is completely wrong. Why is it wrong?
Yeah.
Why is it wrong?
Yet again,
what about it is wrong?
Well, let's look at the evidence. We don't have around us animals that are slowly have in various states of changing, and not in the fossil records. You have different classes, and they all seem to have appear. The main classes appeared in Precambrian layers in the 5 to 10 million years. But how can you test it? It's not hard science even. You can't test it.
Gotcha.
Oh, we could wait 10 million years to see if there's a new class of animal emerging.
So you're saying that they don't have like different levels of animals in the fossil record that show a progression. Did I hear you say that?
Yes, we wouldn't even have this kind of classification that we have birds or dogs or something like that. We see all kind of creatures flowing from one form to another. All the possible stages, so much so we didn't have the concept of species.
We didn't have the concept of species. Yeah, true. I mean, science came up with the concept of like species and genus and philo and all that stuff. Yeah, phylum and all that stuff. Yeah, I hear that. That's what I remember from like 5th grade biology, right? That's what I remember. It's been a long time. but what I'm trying to understand is why then would every scientific discipline endorse evolution through natural selection adaptation and then declare that they have evidence of all of that? Like chemistry, microbiology, archaeology, paleontology, geology, biochemistry, every science that you go in, every scientific discipline, psychology, they would say, we have evidence of evolution.
Not enough studies on psychology. I can't tell much about it. Only basic courses, because that's not my main subject, so it's limited.
I understand. But why in all the other ones like geology, chemistry, and they all line up with each other? So we have evidence across all the scientific disciplines, and they all line up with each other. So why is it that they're doing this, and you're saying that they're wrong? All the scientific disciplines that we have are all wrong, but so why are they all wrong?
Are you still explaining it, or can I answer?
Yeah. To answer, yeah.
Okay. When I look at the pathogens and microbiology and immunology, and I can see the bacteria and how their medicines work. Let's say that you have a antibiotic medicine that affects the building structure of the outer layer, protective wall of a bacteria when it's dividing. If you interfere with that, most of the bacteria die, like 99.8 figures. But then, with a suitable mutation, the structure changes so that the antibiotic medicine doesn't fit into the slot anymore. The structure is bent just a little bit, enough that it still works. But now you can't put anything in the between. It doesn't block there anymore. The electric fields are distorted, and it doesn't attach there and block it. So that's then evolution.
Okay,
Fine.
I gotcha.
But the bacteria is still bacteria. I mean that if you need different species, that's typically when they can't mate anymore. And in high school biology, that evolution is when for example, the mating habit change in birds, then they act differently and somebody else wins, so they don't mate together. But that is doesn't bring up a new class of animals like birds.
All right. So I'm still trying to understand then, because again, scientists don't agree with you on this. Okay. They may be able, because I'm not a biologist, so I don't know any of this stuff. Yet they would not come to the same conclusion that you have. So why did they come to the conclusion that evolution is true and real? And and what did you find out that tells you, no, you are all wrong. All of your years of study, your PhD means nothing. Evolution is false.
Well, the famous Dawkins, which one? Is it Richard Dawkins? Does it have a S at the end?
Richard Dawkins? Okay.
Yes, he's explaining climbing the Mount Improbable in small steps.
All right. Well, Richard Dawkins isn't a scientist, though.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, when you think about,
because I'm trying to understand why
he just explains it. He explains it very beautiful. The stepwise changes that leads to he's a good atheist, explaining how the stepwise changes forms a new. I think he is, but not one of the best, and not in everything. But I think that
I'm sorry. He's an evolutionary biologist, and so he is a scientist. Yes. My bad. He is. My mistake.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Washman. You're right.
Okay, good. But anyway, now I had a hard time to concentrate on going to the side steps.
Okay.
That's
he's an evolutionary biologist.
Okay.
So
he explains it.
Yeah.
The stepwise evolution, we see something could change, but not new classes. But he explains the small incremental changes.
Got
But
it.
that's the problem. It takes 10 million
Okay.
years to change, to build up something new.
And why is that a
So,
problem? Why is that a problem?
well, in the lab, you have to wait 10 million years.
Okay.
So it isn't proven.
But again,
But what
okay,
we
but
see
again,
is,
why is that a problem? Because they've observed it in other ways.
well, do you know what
I
incest
mean,
is?
do I know what is?
Incest.
Yes, I do. I do. I do know
So,
what that is.
any species that
I'm
have a
still not clear
local,
on what
yeah,
that means. Yeah, why
it
that's
means
relevant.
that when you have defects in genome, they begin to gather and make their species unfit for life, not more fit. So the more time you give, the worse it gets. It's devolution,
Okay.
anti-evolution.
I'm just looking at the list, see if anybody can mark their cards. Okay. I'm sorry, keep going.
So whatever we see in genome changes, it's typically gathering more defects.
Okay. Well, okay, so help me out here. Help me out that Richard Dawkins, who's an evolutionary biologist, okay, you quoted what he said, you repeated what he said. He still believes in evolution, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how come he's not convinced that it's not evolution? Like, because you just quoted him,
Atheist.
and because he's an atheist. But why does that matter, though?
Oh, it's a philosophy in life. It changes
Well, no.
your
Atheist is just a belief
science.
or a lack of
You
belief. That's
teach
all it is.
kids.
It's
You teach kids,
it's just a
fairy
mental.
tales.
No. It's a mental state. That's all it is. That's all atheism is. It's just you just don't believe in
pseudoscience.
something, but you don't believe in
It's a
something. That's all it
pseudoscience.
means.
They believe in evolution.
Okay.
That's the only way
it's-
to go against
It's
God.
just okay. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that atheism is just saying you don't believe in a God. That's all that matters. That's all it means.
I used to be an atheist.
I don't think so. I don't think you were a true one.
I was an atheist in
No.
adulthood.
I don't think you were a true real one.
Yes, I was even
No.
more than most because I
I
wasn't
don't think so.
angry about something that didn't exist. I don't understand atheists as
Do you think
though
I'm angry?
I didn't care. There was no God. Why
No.
would I
I'm
be
asking you, do
angry?
you think I'm angry?
You angry, but you spend a lot of time proving something about something that doesn't exist at all. I don't understand that.
How am I proving something? What am I trying to prove?
I
I'm
mean that
asking
you are
I'm asking for evidence. So how is
agnostic.
it that
I
I'm
would call you
yeah,
agnostic.
you would call me
I would
agnostic?
call you agnostic.
I'm an
Yes.
agnostic atheist. Yes, I am. Smallzilla, you caught me.
Yeah.
I'm an agnostic atheist. Yes.
I
'Cause there's a
was
lot of
just
things we're
don't
agnostic
care.
to that we don't believe in, right?
I was a kind of a don't care atheist.
Okay.
I
So
didn't care to argue
you
at
didn't
all
care. You didn't care whether or not God existed.
because there was no God.
Okay.
How would I care?
Okay.
I really, if somebody would have said about the flying spaghetti monster, I would just shook my shoulders. There's no difference. I didn't believe in Santa Claus, gods, or anything like that.
Mhm.
That's was bull manure
Right.
for
But
me.
I
So
still haven't really heard why. Because you just said, well, it's because scientists are atheists, and that's why they don't believe that. That's why
they
they
try
don't.
to find they
Yeah.
try to find a mechanism to build a cell. They're trying to find a mechanism where
Yeah.
RNA would carry the information.
Yeah, and they got a lot
desperately
closer.
tried.
Yeah.
Well,
They.
they are not.
Oh yeah, they're very close.
Well,
They
the
just.
more they learn, the farther in the
Well, hey,
horizon
do you remember
ship
from biology
disappears.
what is the precursor of a cell? Like what's at like in the stages of a cell? At what stage is right before it becomes a full-blown cell? What is that stage called? Or what is it called?
What do you mean that by this? In what
Well,
kind
there's
of?
stages in when a cell becomes a cell, right? There's stages, right? And so
There-
at what stage right before a cell becomes a cell, what is that stage
There
called?
are no
What is it
such
called
thing
in that
in
stage?
in human medical science. There is no such thing. No
There's
stages.
there's something. It's called something right before it becomes a cell. What is it? Do you know what it's called?
There are no such things. If you go to medical school, they may be teaching you about the
No,
X
no.
chromosome,
It's actually called
X
something.
from a female or something like that, but there are
Mm-mm.
no pre-cells or anything like that.
No.
If you mean
okay.
protocell from the high school biology,
Protocell. Yes, it's a protocell.
bull. That's total bull. There is no such thing.
There's no such thing as a protocell.
No, you have to have a full functional cell.
So hold on
That's
a second. You're
proven in
saying
the
there's
medical science.
there's no such
You
thing
would
as a
never become
protocell.
a doctor if you
Okay.
don't apply the smart evidence there.
So are you saying then that the scientists who created protocells from inorganic material are lying?
There is absolutely no unguided natural chemical process that would produce information in DNA or a living cell.
No.
Impossible.
I just asked you, did the scientists who created protocells from inorganic material, are they lying? Are they lying?
They can create using already made
No, they
functional
created it
parts.
from scratch, from inorganic material. Are you telling me that
with
they're
guided processes, purifying every step. You have to purify. You
Okay.
can't have the continuous process.
I think you're
You
dodging
have
my
to
question.
purify and then
I
attach.
gotta ask you again. Are you telling me that the scientists
They
who
lie
created
then. Yes,
protocells,
they absolutely lie then.
they're
You
lying?
give you false
Okay.
understanding. They
What
lie
is your
because they give
evidence
you
that they're
false
lying?
understanding.
Okay, what is your evidence that they're
read-
lying?
You have to read the abstracts and
I
then
did.
the whole
I did read the
study.
abstracts. I have read the
And
whole study.
then.
I have
You
read the whole
don't
study.
understand it then.
I don't understand it. Okay.
Because it's impossible.
Okay.
They-
So
they-
here, let's.
Yo,
You want to bring up
you
the study, and
can't
you can
put
tell me. You can
together
tell
a
me where they're
cell.
lying. We'll bring up the study, and
can't
you can
put
tell.
toge-
Well, no. Here, let's bring up the study, and then you
Well,
can tell me exactly
What-
where they're
What,
lying.
you- what do you would
Just-
put in the beginning to make it?
No.
How?
Hey, hold on. Just let me bring up the study, and then you can tell me exactly where they're lying.
Okay. Bring up a study. This is
I'm bringing it up.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm bringing up the study. Just give me a second. Hold on. Hold
Yeah,
on.
that's fantastic.
All right.
I love it.
All right.
Because
right.
it's my area, and I haven't checked the latest information of
It's your
this year,
area?
for example.
So you okay. So
Only once they teach me, and they don't go deep in the latest
yeah.
trying to have RNA.
Uh-huh. It's the team led by Juan Perez Mercader. You familiar with that name?
No.
No? Okay. And they that team was able to create protocells from inorganic material. But you're telling me it's a lie. So do you
have a
are you familiar with the it's called PISA. PISA. It's the acronym PISA.
No.
It's polymer induced self-actualization. So that's what they've been working on since 2017. Yeah. So started in 2017 where they're using PISA. That's when they started with giant vesicles with emergent properties. So that was the first thing that they did. That was like the first breakthrough that they had. But this is from 2025. So let's see.
If you have a
I think I
link
found
put
it.
there, you can bring up the next guy, and I go back to studying it.
Oh yeah,
and we
yeah,
can
it's
talk
right here.
later.
Well, here. Well, no. We can go through the abstract real quick and just tell me where they're lying, because you said that you have to read the abstract, and I don't understand it. So help me understand it. So do you see it above my head?
No, the text is too small.
It's too
can't
small.
read it.
Dang it. Okay.
I read only the word abstract, and
Okay. Let's see if I can make it bigger, because I'm kind of interested in what you'll.
I would
Is
say
that
if
better?
you could send me the link.
Yeah, I can send you the link, but can you read that now?
Two key challenges in the.
I'll have to
Oh,
just
now
scroll.
it's easy.
Yeah.
Now it's really easy. Two key challenges in the multidisciplinary field of sequence-controlled polymers are the efficient synthesis and the establishment of correlation with the polymer properties.
Yeah.
In this,
There we go.
yes, prefer that you leave the last line because it's easy to continue. In this context, yes, exactly what you had there in this context.
Okay.
You had it correctly. Okay. In this context, in this paper, gradient architecture in the hydrophobic tail over amphiphyll is implemented and synthesized for a fixed hydrophilic unit, polyethylene glycol, PEG. I don't know what PEG is.
Don't know what PEG is? Okay.
No.
Okay. I think it's polyethylene
It's the
glycol.
short for the polyethylene glycol. I thought it was continuance for that. It is actually the acronym. Okay, now I understand. By means
Polyethylene
of
glycol.
monomer 2-hydroxypropyl acrylate, and that's also shortened
HPMA.
HPMA,
Mhm.
and diacetone acrylamide DAM of contrasting reactivities.
Mhm. Okay, so
Okay,
let's stop right there. Okay, where have they lied yet? Where have they
No.
lied? They haven't lied yet.
They just they are explaining the basic facts first.
Perfect. Okay, so let's keep going.
Is
Okay.
that the chemicals what they have?
Okay.
The resulting non-biochemical gradient sequence controlled polymers are generated from one pot homogeneous mixture. I just wanted to know if there is it racemic without chirality anywhere, or how
Okay.
did they purify it? But anyway, go forward through a bed raft PDSA LE. That means photo-induced electron energy transfer, reversible
Mhm.
addition, fragmentation, change transfer, polymerization, induced self-assembly. Oh,
Okay.
they can induce self-assembly.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
just
fantastic. And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
used
So
photo
okay, so are they
induced. There's a
now?
new method. I didn't
Yeah,
know. They haven't told us
self-assembly. So are
because
they
I'm
lying?
not a doctorate. I'm not a doctorate. I don't study this
Understood.
particular.
Okay.
So it's a new method.
Yeah. So are
it's
they?
not-
Well, I just
it's
want to
not
know
in
if
the
they're
basic
lying.
teaching.
Yeah, because you said they're
No,
lying. So I want to know.
There's a new
I want to know if they're
no,
lying.
No, not anymore. Not anything here for as far we as went. But it's
Okay.
very interesting. A new method in addition. Oh, little bit up in addition. In addition.
There we go.
There. The initial concentrated ratio of the monomers in the gradient. Monomer is when you have a polymer, is a molecule that repeats.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's in a high school chemistry, that would be something like nylon.
Okay.
So monomers in the gradient is varied as an input for a set of fixed experimental parameters and conditions. So they change the conditions to find something suitable.
Mhm.
And its correlation with kinetics, gradient, and self-assembled morphologies is established. So they're trying to hide something that connects together without any help.
Yeah.
Except what is explained here. You could have a snowflake, starlight 6.
Sure.
Okay, as an output of the process. These results are extensively corroborated via nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy analysis. They use that methods to see what is inside. So
Mhm.
that's the
Inside
detection
the-
machine. That's
Exactly.
physics. The nuclear magnetic resonance is a physics way to do the spectroscopy
Yeah.
analysis. So they know what is inside the structure and everything.
Mhm.
So that's the measurement, like X-rays from a thorax, from the rib cage, and then together with their transmission electron microscopy. Oh, yeah, emission. I think that's a electron microscope, and I've used
Mhm.
that in my engineering studies. I also studied engineering, so I understand the physics. Dynamic light scattering, DL5, and gel permeation and chromatography. They still use that. Okay. I didn't know that they still use that also. Okay. It's very basic and it's easy to use. The others are very
Okay.
expensive machinery. This one is cheap. These results have implications for chemical computation carried out by PISA, programmable self information storage, biometric origins of life, and synthetic protocell studies. So they
Yeah.
study there's no protocell. They explain what machinery they use to detect, and they also explain the basic chemistry. So
Correct.
there's nothing that happened, nothing specific happening here. A little bit up. And what was the last sentence in that?
The last sentence was
Okay, guys, let me read. The piece, origins of life. Then keywords, but that
well, they have some
abstract didn't
results here.
explain.
See, they have results.
Okay, implications for. This means that I should read the whole paper. I can use my university credentials, go to the actual study. It is in PubMed?
Yeah, this is on PubMed. Yeah, so that's the
And
link.
if you
Here,
can
I can.
use, if
I'll
you
put
can
this in the
read
chat. I'll put it in the chat for you.
Yes.
Mhm.
Put the
So you
link,
can-
and can you read the whole story, or is it blocked from you?
I might be able to get to the whole story from here. Let me see if I can.
But it's better to let me read it. Oh, there it is. Let's see what happens if I.
Let's see. These are the terms. These are the references. The different articles. I don't. Might be under show details. Text links. Maybe it's full text links. Oh, it's under Wiley. No, it takes me to Wiley, so I can't get there from here. But I have it somewhere because I have read it. I've actually read it. But you're, and here's the DOI. Do you want the DOI? Here, I'll give you the DOI as well.
What is
So-
DOI?
The DOI. That's how you can find the. That's how you can find the study.
It's
so-
already a link, and I found it immediately. That saying
Okay.
what you have on the screen.
all right.
It's much easier to read.
Yeah. So essentially, what they were able to do, because I'm still trying to understand, because you said that if they built protocells, that they were lying. So that means that they were lying in this study, because that's what the results were, that they were able to produce protocells. So yeah. So why don't you go ahead and take a read, and then come on back and just tell me exactly where they lied. You want to do that? All right. Well, hey, Cyberdad, you're out of time, so I'm gonna and I see that you're away. I just can't hear you when you're away from away from the app. But you're out of time, so I'm gonna let you go. But yeah, go ahead and take a read, and then come on back and just tell me, they lied about this. All right?
Probably not today.
No, it's fine.
Locally,
I won't be
yes.
here much longer. So yeah. Okay.
During the weekend, I have more time. So
Okay.
next week, if I happen to find you, actually trust but verify, follow. So I follow you just because this is very interesting.
Sounds good.
Theories and new studies, and probably they claim something to be a protocell. So I have to see how
Sure.
how they describe it, and what is in the textbooks that doesn't
here's
refer anything.
Okay. Yeah, there's another one called the self-reproduction of synthetic protocells, PNAS.
That would be nice. That would be nice. Can you put it in as a link here, and then I have enough material
Let's see if
to
I can
read.
find the link to that one. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll do that for you. All right. Hey, thanks for coming up. Appreciate you,
Thanks you
Cyberdad.
for the links, because
Yeah,
this is
you got it.
really interesting.
All right.
I love
Sounds
to
good.
read it.
All right. Have a good day. Take care.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, but it's quite something to hear that they were lying. That's very oh, and there's actually a pnas.org, PNAS, pnas.org. So they actually have a website. So here, and they have a DOI. So here, I'm finished with this nonsense. Aaliyah. Too funny. But anyone else who wants to read up on the studies, and trustees, friends, you can use these links. So when somebody says abiogenesis they haven't done anything, the Miller-Urey experiment which was from 1952, by the way, that they haven't done anything with it, you can say no, they have discovered PNAS. So yeah. So we're just gonna So abiogenesis, so they have discovered how to create PNAS. from scratch, no less. As a Finnish person, I died on this hill. Yeah. Does size matter? I think the bigger the penis, some say it does, but you know, if you have the penis, a penis of any size will do. Because it will, you know, it will just promote self-replication. That's exactly what this article says. It says from penis.org, self-reproduction as an autonomous process of growth and reorganization and fully okay, I can't even finish the sentence. Yeah. So see, it's so I don't think the size matters. That, you know, it's an autonomous process of growth. Oh, goodness. It just happens all by itself. And we do not yeah. So growth will happen no matter what. If you have penis, growth will happen. Just saying. It is cool. Yeah. It's PNAS. So that's what I'm talking about. All right. See, science is fun. Exactly. Exactly. All right. So we have our next guest is 37 Neil. How's it going?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
Oh, I'm 22 and I go by, you said pronoun?
Yeah.
Like,
which pronouns do you prefer people use for you?
Mr., I guess.
Mr.? That's a title.
You mean like pronoun? Like, what are you saying? Like
I, you, he, she, it, they, them, we, us, our. Yeah. So like when somebody talks about you, what pronouns do they use? An honorific. Thank you, Aaliyah. Him?
Like
he, him? Okay.
He, like, I don't get what you're trying to say here, but
okay.
I have
which God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus. So
right.
I see that you got up here like what's your best evidence that God is real?
Yep.
Now, I'm not here to convince you, you know. This is totally up to you if you
You're kind of
believe
supposed to. You're kind of supposed to.
No, I'm not.
According to the Bible.
According in the Bible, you're not supposed to convince anybody. You're supposed to tell people about the goodness, and you know, if you believe it, that's great. But if you don't, that's on you.
Okay. So
I would tell
when it says though that when it says go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teach them to obey everything that I have commanded you. So what I'm saying though is that I think it is your job to convince me.
It's not my job to convince you. I mean, you know, I can tell you all day, but it's up to you if you believe it or not.
So when it says,
you know, people believe that the earth is flat, and I just don't think that's true. But people believe in all kinds of stuff.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. Well, I think from my end, if I heard evidence that God is real, I would believe it. I mean, if the evidence is, you know, is on par and it's not like, well, because I say so, that's not evidence, right? Like, you know what evidence is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it increases the probability of something being true. So what do you have that increases the probability that God is real?
Well, I know for me that he's real. You know, I grew up in a church, you know, growing up in a Pentecostal church, and, you know, seeing people, you know, in the spirit, you know, when you're young, you know, you just see stuff. You don't like, you see it, but you don't really know anything about it for real until you get older, and then you experience it yourself.
Okay.
And so that's happened to me. So me personally, I know he's real. You know.
Okay. You know he's real. All right.
Yes.
Is it like as real as your mother is real?
Yes.
Okay. And so is there anybody that you know of that doesn't believe your mother is real?
Not that I know of. I mean,
That you know of? Yeah. So everybody you know believes your mother is real, right?
I mean, if I was to ask them, do you believe my mother is real? I mean, they would have to say yes. I mean, I'm here.
What would you
course.
say to what would you say to somebody who would be like, "Yo, Neil, I don't believe your mom's real." Like, what? Show me evidence that your mom's real. What would you say?
I don't have to show them that I'm here.
Right,
It's clear
you're
as
here,
day, you know,
right?
like that a female.
Yeah.
I was brought here by a male and female.
But what if they said, "Well, what if you were a test tube baby?" So we don't know if
Test
you
tube
have.
baby?
Yeah, if you were just, you were just produced in a lab. How do I know you weren't produced in a lab? So what else what other evidence would you give them to demonstrate that your mom is real?
I don't know, bro. I ain't about to, convince somebody that. It's up to them if they believe or not.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to understand, like, like if they say that if you have evidence and it's for you, but now would it be like if somebody said to you though, Neil, if they said, well, my mom is real for me, but
Yeah.
if you don't believe my mom's real, okay, whatever. I mean, yeah, you don't have a lot of skin in the game. I get that. But if somebody were to say, like maybe one of your friends, like somebody you would care about, like convincing, all right? Somebody you would care
I'm
about,
like,
and then
bro,
they
do
said
you, you really
hey, just prove
do
that your
you
mom's real.
do you like really believe like there's no God?
I don't believe that there is a God, no, because I don't have
So
evidence for it.
you you believe like we're just here and we're just here?
Yep, we're just here.
So you think there's no higher power?
Nope. Well, it depends what you call higher power, but if you're talking about a higher powered being, no,
No.
I don't believe that. No.
So out of all the millions of stars, billions of, you just think it's just here.
Yep. Just think it's here.
And we're
Well, what
just the
evidence do you
only
have? Well, yeah, but what evidence do you
and we're
have
just
that
and we're just
God did all
we're
this?
just the only ones here?
I don't think we're the only ones here, because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because the universe is really big.
I know, right?
But the thing is that I want evidence of something being true. Like, for example, do you believe that Bigfoot is real?
I've heard people, even my own family, have
Yeah.
told me about stories. They've seen things.
But do
I've
you
seen things
believe?
myself, actually.
Yeah, but do you believe that Bigfoot is real?
He probably is.
Probably is. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, probably is. Yet you don't you don't have any evidence that Bigfoot's real, right? So
Not me personally.
yeah,
You
but
know,
you don't know for sure, right?
I don't know for sure, but from what I can gather, this world is pretty crazy. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know about. You probably is.
He probably is. Okay.
Yeah.
But what makes you think that?
What makes me think that?
Yeah.
I mean, bro, like it's a lot of stuff on this earth we can't explain.
Sure.
You know. And,
So we can't explain it.
It's just like wow, like people out there really believe there is no God.
Yeah.
That's
Santa
very
Claus is Santa Claus
low
real?
vibrational, bro. No, Santa Claus is not real, bro.
Okay, but how do you know that?
Bro, Santa Claus is not. I mean, there might be somebody out there named Santa Claus.
Right, but
But
I mean,
does
but how do
Santa
you
Claus
know?
come down your chimney for Christmas? He's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
real.
yeah. The brother in the
I
red
think
suit,
everybody knows
big
that.
white dude in the red suit, comes down the chimney, gives presents to everybody on Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
one night. Just
Yeah.
knocks it all out one day. No, you don't think so? He's just got one 24-hour shift every year. Okay.
Yes.
Why don't you believe that? But you believe God is real.
Because I've experienced them.
You've experienced him? Okay.
Yeah, in Acts
All right.
2:38, you know,
Mhm.
that whole chapter right
Oh,
there. Where it
we had
talks
somebody.
about,
We had somebody who was named Acts 2:38 yesterday on my live. Her name on her, her TikTok name was Acts 2:38.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So people who have had experience with Santa, still not real?
No. Maybe if it was a fake Santa, and it was a kid, maybe they believed it was Santa, but other than that, obviously
Yeah.
it's not real.
Okay. So experience doesn't automatically make something real, right?
Um,
Because like my kids used to tell me that there were monsters in the closet and they saw them.
yeah.
That doesn't make were they telling the truth? Were there really
They
monsters in
could
the
have been.
closet? Could have been, but no Santa.
Coulda
Monsters in the closet, but no Santa.
Could have seen the spirit or like a little demon. You never know.
Okay. And so I'm trying to
Do you
understand.
believe spirits are real?
No,
No.
no evidence for it.
No evidence.
Nope.
You really think that?
No. You know what's funny?
Wow.
You know what's funny, Neil? The only
Yeah.
people who seem to like atheists never experience any spirits. Never do.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Isn't that weird that the only ones who seem to experience spirits are the ones who believe in them? But they're just completely invisible to anybody who doesn't believe in them. Isn't that weird? Wouldn't that, it would be like this. It would be like going back to your mom for a minute. Like if somebody didn't believe your mom was real and your mom was standing right in front of them, it would be like, they'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see your mom. I don't see your mom at all. Oh, we got to pause for a minute. We got a law to follow, Neil. So I'll put a pause on your timer.
Okay.
Yeah, we got some business to handle. So give me just a second. King Hammy of Hamalot, you have arrived.
I have.
You have.
And I do have a reading today.
You have a reading today, but you had a reading yesterday, even though you didn't have a reading ready yesterday, but you eventually got a reading.
I eventually got a reading, but today I have a reading, and I have the next week's reading too, because somebody gave.
And there it is. All right. So what is your reading today?
My reading is going to be from the book I've showed you before, The Slave Trade. Because this part here is kind of relevant to Christianity in a sense. Because, we always hear about how Christians and how they were always against the slave trade or whatever. I don't know what kind of nonsense they teach about. But it says here, we're going to start at this sentence here. It says, Christ's teaching that all things whatsoever ye would that men should do unto you, do ye even so unto them, along with the ideas of St. Paul that God hath made of one blood all men and all nations of men, played a part in the history of abolition in the United States in the 19th century. But in the early days of Christianity, Christ's failure to talk specially of slaves was taken to imply that they were excluded from divine generosity. St. Paul, like Seneca, thought that slavery was something external, so he recommended that slaves serve their masters with fear and trembling. He thought that every man should abide in the same calling wherein he was called. Art thou called being a slave? Care not for it, but if thou mayest be made free, use it rather. And then in parentheses it says, the English Authorized Version, curiously translate, serve us as servant, not slave. The apostle believed it is true that the slave who receives the call to be a Christian is the Lord's freeman. But the implication was that the liberty could only be expected in the next world. So, this here is one of the reasons why, whenever it came to slavery in early Christendom, it was seen that it was fine, because Jesus himself never specifically spoke out, or, talked about it. And Paul thought that, if you were called to be a slave, then, you should still be a slave. Oh, dude did not want to wait.
Oh, he didn't want to wait. Oh, and by the way, mark your cards. You got two slots to mark if you got them, because I have both Hammy and Cyber up here. Ooh, nice hat, Cyber.
I haven't came up for a cyber attack yet.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so don't mark your cards because Cyber is up, because it's not a cyber attack. It was about to be, but then our guest left.
Well, hold on, I'll fix that.
Potentially.
Hammy, he's over here trying to play your introduction, and you're just interrupting him like STFO.
I know.
All right, you can mark your cyber attack.
Okay,
now.
mark your cards.
Yeah,
That was a cyber attack. There it is.
I'm going to say just so that way people can mark their bingo cards. I felt very attacked right now.
Felt attacked.
I felt personally attacked at that.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you for that reading. That was very enlightening.
Cam up.
Very educational.
I'll go ahead and cam up too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, here we
Okay.
go.
All three of us are cam up.
I look like white Jesus. So, if you
That's
want to
awesome.
come up and talk about my word, go ahead and come up and talk about my word.
That is what I imagined the Jesus from the land of the Caucasus would look like.
Yeah, the land
This is-
from the Caucasus Mountains.
This is Jesus from the mountains of Caucasus right here. He came down and said, "Behold, I speak of you. Mayo is too spicy."
That might even be Mormon Jesus right there.
Could be Mormon Jesus. Well, he's more blonde hair, right? Like
This
dirty
is
blonde
true.
hair.
This is
Yeah,
true.
dirty blonde
Yeah.
hair. So
His is it's still brown. It's just that it's way lighter brown than
Yeah.
mine. It's more like auburn.
yeah, like an auburn.
Mine's like a dark brown.
Yeah, I don't know. He always struck me as like a Three Musketeer. You know, because he had like the beard, and then he just had like that wily smile going. Like, yeah, he fucking looks like D'Artagnan. I mean, that's what he.
You see, this Jesus here, he turns water into Bud Light.
See,
This one particularly
that's
right
that
here.
Caucasus Mountain influence right there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got
Well, see,
Gangster
so,
Ross.
so real quick, we'd have
Yeah.
this Jesus. The Pharisees would bring a problem to him. He'd pull out his hat and be like, "Hold on a minute."
There it is.
Then you
There
give
it
him an
is.
answer.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Gangster Ross, how you doing? Gangster Ross? There? All right, maybe it was an accidental request. So, okay. What about the Pinas? Oh yeah, $3 pencils. That's true. No, we had a riveting discussion on abiogenesis and the studies on Pinas. Yeah, self-reproduction of synthetic protocells, and the acronym is PNAS. PNAS.
Last night I was on Grandpa's live, and somebody's was trying to run fine tuning, but the whole point behind it was the tilt of the Earth and season. And I'm like, you do, and I brought up like 10 different studies that are like, even if the Earth did not have a tilt, while life would be very different on this planet, instead of having seasons,
It would still be live.
yeah, plant life would be based on latitude instead of seasons, but we could still have life. And he just couldn't accept that. Couldn't accept that. He wanted me to watch a video.
It's
Yeah.
because of the fact that, like, whenever people hear fine tuning, they want to sit there and think that any parameter that is changed with the current scientific understanding of the world means that it would be catastrophic for life in and of itself. So much that people are like, they talk about the Goldilocks zone, and I'm like, do you know how big the Goldilocks zone is?
Yeah.
Because it extends from
huge.
Venus all the way to fucking Mars. And so you're saying that if we were anywhere and we ourselves travel like thousands upon thousands of miles away and closer to the sun every year.
Yeah, I thought it was like a
Like
million
what?
miles, like hundreds of thousands or a million
No,
miles.
it
or
could be a
something like
million. I don't
Yeah.
remember the exact number, but it's probably millions of miles
Yeah, we shift
where we
all the
travel
time.
further away and get closer every year.
yeah,
like
even
every-
Venus. even Venus is barely in the Goldilocks zone, but because of Venus's atmosphere, it could never support life because of the atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right, but it like they sit there and talk about the Goldilocks zone as if it is Earth-sized and we're right there in it, and it's like
no more, no
no.
less. Yeah, it's exactly Earth size, and we don't move.
Yeah,
We're just the
and
exact
it's
same
like no.
distance year round. Yeah,
Right. The Goldilocks zone is a circle about the size of the Earth, and if the Earth were to move out of that circle, then we would just be not here.
we would
like,
just
no.
burn. We would fry. It's just we would just self combust
Yeah,
instantly.
and it's just so crazy hearing this, and I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
it's
that's
wild.
not how fucking the science works, my guy.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, it's wild. Like one little
Or
thing
they're
is just
like-
off by like one millionth of a decimal point, then
If there
then
were
everything
just-
ceases to exist.
If there was just one too many asteroids in our solar system, we would all just like it would be chaos. And I'm like, yeah, these asteroids come into our solar system all the time, and guess what? They either get burned up in our atmosphere when they collide with us, or they like sit there and hit something else and
Yeah.
just forms into that.
Exactly.
Like this is what that what?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I had a Finnish gentleman in earlier who was trying to tell me that evolution is false and all that stuff, right? And so then he was saying it's impossible that scientists have been able to produce protocells, and then I brought up the 2025 study, yeah, and then because he said,
That's
they're
exactly what we
lying.
did.
Yeah, exactly what we did. And he's like, oh, they're lying. And so then I had him read the abstract and I asked him, well, just tell me where they're lying. Just tell me. And yeah, you end up saying, well, I'm going to go read this and I'll get back to you. Like, okay. But apparently you know more about this than these scientists, but okay.
Another one that
never
infects
be
us-
back.
Right, right.
And another one Infexus brought up is he said the same people think they understand probability statistics. Life existing is billions to one. It's like, no, it's 1 to 1. Like
It's 1
that's
to
how
1.
statistics work.
Yeah.
Like
Because
what?
it happened.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because it happened.
And like I've actually asked because like I started thinking about it, and whenever I was at my college, I asked somebody who was a statistics, like they were a professor of statistics, and I asked them, I was like, what is the actual statistics of life like existing on Earth, like of it occurring, right? Because and I explained to her, I was like because you hear from a certain select group of people that it's like billions to one, and she was like, no, she's like it is literally 1 to 1.
Yeah.
That's the statistic.
Yeah.
He's like, because it's happened. Like, that's the only sample size we can go off of. And
Yeah,
it's already
exactly.
occurred.
Yeah. And yeah, and even then I would say that like a trillion to 1 like chance of occurring, that means it's still possible that it can occur. So even if you went with that, yeah, it just means, that means it could still occur. And then that kind of lines up with how our universe, like our reality looks like. Like we're the only planet within the observable that we can see that has like life on it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Now, if you want to go with life outside and say that it's like trillions or billions to 1, like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
I mean, I would sit there and say that it would be ignorant to say that it's not possible. I would say that it's probably improbable, but is it
Yeah.
possible life is out there? Absolutely, it's possible.
Yeah,
It's possible
exactly.
that we have people just like us on an Earth-like planet, billions of light years away from us, who are having these same exact conversations we are having right now, and it's possible.
Yeah,
Like-
because
like
of quantum
they don't have the
entanglement.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be wild?
Yeah, exactly.
Because of quantum
That would be
entanglement.
great.
Yeah, there's some other Earth out there, somewhere in the universe, and we're there's just copies of us having this exact same conversation at the exact same moment, but we would never know.
We would never know.
No,
Because
we
we
would never know.
can't. Like the only way to be able to traverse that It's to literally have a generational shift.
Exactly. We have a guest. How's it going?
Hello, guest.
Exceptional Jordan, something like that.
Jordan, yeah, there you
Jordan.
go. That was close.
Okay. Exceptional Jordan.
Just
How's it going? All right.
How's it going, y'all?
Hey,
What's up?
good. Can I get your age and pronouns?
Yeah, I am 34, and you can call me he.
He, him. All right. Fantastic.
He,
Okay.
him. There you go.
All right. Fantastic. Okay. Which God do you believe in?
I believe in the God of the Bible.
Fantastic. What's your best evidence that God is real?
So, I'm going to come on here and be frank, probably more transparent than most of your other guests that try to debate you. I don't have any evidence.
Okay.
To be frank with you.
All right.
But I do feel very strongly in my beliefs.
Okay.
And I stand there with the same logic that you stand there and you guys believe in science. I feel like to believe in evolution, to believe in this kind of, I guess, the Big Bang or this random, occurrence of creation happening, I feel like either side is just as radical, right? Because the fact of the matter is that nobody was there, right? Nobody was there when these situations happen. Nobody was there when God created the earth. Nobody was there when the Big Bang happened, right? All of it is theoretical. So I think it's just more so about what you decide to believe in and what works for the individual. So the question is like the question, what evidence do you have that God is real? I believe is a little bit loaded. And
so
because I can say that what is the evidence that you have that the Big Bang happened?
So that's great. I like science is my jam, right? I love science, right? So my question I would have to ask you before, so that way I can get a basic level understanding. What is it that you know of the Big Bang?
All that I know of the Big Bang is what we were taught in school is that there was a random collision of particles that then sparked this where we are today. Billions of years ago, I guess, and leads to where we are today.
Can we give you some information that kind of clears that up? Can we do that?
Sure.
All right. Take it away,
Awesome.
Hammy.
Awesome. So, so the most current model that we have whenever it comes to cosmology is the Lambda CDM model, right? This basically talks about the Big Bang, right? The current model that is being held right now is inflation theory. That is the most held up one, and that talks about how time and space started at the same point in existence, right? And it talks about how at one point in time, our universe was in this hot, dense state where you have these quantum particles such as quarks and electrons that exist, and there's this fusion that's happening between them. And this is why it's hot, right? And we have these basic little things, and we have these quantum fluctuations that are happening within this hot, dense state. And what science says is that at one point, we're in this hot, dense state, and that it expanded, and it cooled. And this cooling as it expands causes all these other things, like for instance, neutrons and protons to come into existence, and the expansion causes them to then quote unquote bash into each other and create heavier elements. Such as, we get oxygen and all that other good stuff, right? And so as this is expanding outwards and all these things are rapidly hitting each other as it's expanding, as it's trying to move away from each other, that's when we start to get different things, and we start to get like clouds of gases, and we start to get rocks and things like that, because these things, like meteors and shit, because these things start to then form from all these things rapidly hitting each other, creating the new and heavier elements as time goes on, right? Now, science doesn't ever talk about like what happened, like in this particular model, in the inflation model, they don't think that there is such thing as a before, because this is when time comes into existence, right? So it's like asking what's north of the North Pole, right? It doesn't make sense. It just all came in together. Now, there are other theories, though, that do talk about what could have possibly happened beforehand, such as the cyclical universe, where it talks about a never-ending cycle of mass expansions and mass contractions that just continuously go. So the quote-unquote Big Bang that we have, it was just one of a chain of never-ending expansions and contractions. That one I like. I think that there's some merit to it. It's not necessarily saying that this is the most currently held one, but I like it because it does have merit, right? Are you with me so far?
I'm following. I'm tracking.
Okay, awesome. So, the thing is like what we talk about whenever it comes to science, though, is that all we know for a fact is the fact that we were in a hot, dense state. And how do we know that? Well, we know that by the cosmic background radiation. We can see with the redshifting of these galaxies that they're moving away from each other at a specific speed. And so we can then go back in time and see through the cosmic background radiation that as it expands out, it gets cooler. And if we were to then bring that back inward, it would get hotter. And we would see that at one point we can get to a singular hot, dense state. And so that's the only thing science actually, like, with any actual like level of I don't want to say finality, but any level of actual like grounding that they will actually talk about. Everything after that, they'll sit there and say, well, we have hypotheses. We have ideas of what it could be. But they're not going to tell you that, oh, this is specifically how this happened, right? So that's all science has. And that's the case. What is the analogous way that we can understand of a God whenever it comes to this? Because when we're positing God in this, it seems to be coming from before the Big Bang, if you will. And so if that's the case, then it seems like God and science are not analogous as far as like the same logic we use.
Okay, I'm following you there, I guess. And so this is just my interpretation of what science, because I very much so believe in science. I actually used to be a elementary science teacher. So I think that science is very powerful. I think that it's been very beneficial. I am of the belief that science is man's attempt to explain what God is or how God works. And just the reason why I come to that conclusion is because at the end of the day, the belief in God, or whether it's Christianity or being, Muslim or whatever religions that are out there, are all man's interpretations of basically a theory of how they feel. And so
but whenever
you
it comes to
mentioned
science, the logic that we use is if we can't observe it, test it, and reproduce it or anything like that, then we don't make claims about it, right? So what's the logic that
yeah, for sure. So
equivalents that with God?
Got you. So as a scientist, or as somebody who is very versed in science as yourself, right? That's your domain. So you're able to observe those things, potentially reproduce those experiments, or record those experiments for other people to possibly read about and things like that, right? So for somebody like me, I can understand what you're saying, but I have no way of actually performing the scientific experiments to actually observe what's happening, right? I have to trust that what you're saying is what you went through, what you experienced, and just kind of follow your logic on it. So I think it's the same thing when it comes to, religion and the belief in God, is that sometimes we have to especially when we're
Well,
specifically
no,
talking
no.
about the Bible.
Let
It
me let
has
me
been
make something
proved that
clear.
things that are in the Bible are actually events that happened in history,
Well,
right?
Jordan, let me make something clear. And I know that we brought up the Bible now, and so that's where I can let Cyber Lobes and Trust like take it away, right? Because I will say they are way, way, way more knowledgeable about topics of the Bible than I am. But like this is where you have a mistake. I can be wrong. Like I can be absolutely wrong with what I just said. You could sit there and fact check me right now and see, hey, you were talking out of your ass on this particular topic. And I'd be like, oh shit, that's my bad, right? Because while science is my jam, this isn't like my field of expertise, right? This is just something I enjoy reading about. But you don't have to just go off of my word. You can then go and look at other people's words and see what they say. Then you can look at the equipment that they've used to be able to find out this information. And you can use that same equipment to make your own actual discoveries. Like this is not something that is like gatekeep to the point to where it's like, oh, only specific people. Now, sure, like the Webb telescope, right? That's something that you're not going to be able to get access to. I can't get access to that. None of us could. But you can look at their imaging that they found with that telescope. You can then look at other things, like other pictures and stuff like that they've gathered from other devices that none of us mere plebes of people have access to, right? But everything else, you can get that and you can look it up. You can find it yourself. You can experiment.
The main difference, if I can just real quick, I'm about to go back into work. So between science and religion, you said how they're kind of similar in the fact that you have to trust people. Since you can't conduct these experiments yourself a lot of the time, if you have a respect for the method of science that's being conducted, you can understand that scientists are using the scientific method, and if you are able to trust that, that carries a lot of weight. Whereas if you trust in religious leaders, they're making claims about the supernatural, which are by definition untestable, and they aren't really verifiable or falsifiable. So you could appeal to one authority that you know is based in fact and reasoning, or you could also believe in, you could put your faith in another authority that is fundamentally just based on tradition alone. And I think
Are
that
y'all
one is far more
opposed
compelling than
to
the other.
are y'all opposed to both coexisting? Or does one, it just has to be one singular truth?
I will say that whenever it comes to me, I think that like if you think that a God exists and it did and science and God are like compatible, cool. I'm not necessarily against it, but my biggest thing is like you have to show how they're compatible.
Yeah, and I think my piece on that would be because like everything we know about like science has kind of shown us a lot of things that we know about our reality, right? And like Loeb was saying before he dipped, it was, supernatural things are just that that science can't explain. And but everything we know in this existence operates like under the laws of physics, right? According to the laws of physics. And so if we have a God or a being that operates outside of the laws of physics, then it would hold then that we should be able to know that to be true. Like we should be able to see if that's the case. And to our knowledge, we can't see that, because if it's outside of the laws of fit, like if it's a supernatural thing, which means it operates outside of the laws of physics, then we can't demonstrate it to be true. However, if this being is like the Christian God that operates inside of and outside of the laws of physics, then we should have some evidence that this God exists, because it should leave some type of signature, some type of evidence behind, some type of trace, something that we should be able to see that this God is actually real. And honestly, we just don't have that. It's just, so I think you would agree it comes down to faith, right?
I 100% agree with you on that.
Okay.
And I think that's that y'all make valid points, and you can understand why, people take on that stance. I get it. The eyes never lie. What you see, when you can see something, and you can touch something, it becomes real, it becomes tangible. So I guess I'll end it here. Then, like, can science explain, or can we measure? How do we measure like emotion? How do we measure feelings? How is that? Where did
Brain
that come
scans.
from? Like, where
We hook you up to instruments.
where did those things come from?
Chemical reactions in the brain.
Yes.
We can actually manipulate them.
Chemical reactions in the brain.
So, for instance, we can hook Cyber up to a machine that an MRI machine that will sit there and take these scans of his brain, and we can sit there and say, like, show him a picture of his wife, right? And we can map what parts of his brain get activated when he looks at this picture of his wife, and we can sit there and say, okay, and we can ask him, of course, you know, hey, what's the feelings you feel when you see this? And he can say love, right? Like because he
Okay, hold on.
hoping he loves
I'm
his
sorry, guys. I'm sorry. So I asked the wrong question. I asked how you measure them. Excuse me. Where does it come from? Like,
Okay,
how
I can answer that.
how can you prove that through the start from what you said, measuring the distance of the galaxies and stuff? How does that lead us to us now having brain waves and being able to, you know, measure emotion? Where does that start? When did we become conscious and understand that emotions exist?
Okay, gotcha. So, as far as that's concerned, okay, well, I was prepared to answer a different question, but essentially, if we brought a neuroscientist in, a person like a biologist, they can tell you that it is because of the process of evolution through natural selection and adaptation. We have a lot of evidence for that, and and so, like, for example, we haven't found a case in which any like emotions have come from something other than a person, like a being with a brain, right? Like we can't find emotions naturally occurring in nature or anything like that. It seems like the prerequisite to have emotions is to have a brain. And there's a 2021 study done by a team that discovered that emotions originate in the amygdala, which is like the reptile brain, right? And so that's what we know. They were able to demonstrate that and verify that. And so if they come from somewhere else or something beyond that, we have no way of detecting it or testing it or verifying that's true. We just know that it comes from a brain. Yeah.
Yep. And what we also
Absolutely.
find is that when people have socio or psychopathic tendencies, that these part of the brains are malfunctioning. They're not working. They're not properly releasing chemicals.
And there's a link in the chat if you want to read the study. But so that's what we know.
Understood.
Could it be wrong? Of course, it could be wrong, but that's what we found out so far.
For sure. And like I said, guys, I appreciate the Discord. I appreciate being able to come on here and talk, and I appreciate the knowledge that Mr. Hammy shared with me. I'm definitely going to go and do my own research on that and kind of look up that. I am a science geek, but that doesn't mean that I discount what I believe to be real to me, which is my faith in God. So
we got you.
Well, can we run through an exercise real quick
before you go?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just a clear thing here. We can agree that the word whatever means like it's anything at all. There's no restrictions, correct?
Sure.
Right. And anything is like I can ask for a single thing, right?
Yes.
All right. So we run into a situation. We can run the scientific method here right now. In John chapter 14, we have a case where Philip and the disciples come to Jesus and they say, hey, can we see the Father? Like, you talk to him and stuff. Can we see him? And Jesus said to him, I have been with you all this time, Philip, and you still do not know me. Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? The words I say to you, I do not speak on my own, but the Father who dwells in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. But if you do not then believe because of the works themselves. Now this is the challenge here we're going to do. Very truly I tell you, the one who believes in me will do the works that I do, and in fact will do greater works than these, because I am going to the Father. I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If in my name you ask me for anything, I will do it.
We'll do it.
So I don't have faith. I'm not a believer. Hammy's not a believer. Trust isn't a believer, but you're a believer. You have faith. In this passage, Jesus says that believers will do greater works than he did. And because he's going to the Father, and in order to glorify the Father, whatever you, the believer, ask, anything, he will do it because it glorifies the Father. So would you be willing to say a prayer that will cause Hammy, Trust, or myself, any one of us, to immediately know that God does exist?
Would I be willing to say a prayer?
Yeah, right here on the line.
I mean, I would be willing to, but I don't know. I guess I can't say for certain that it would happen. And the reason why I feel that I'll say this. The reason why, right? I think sometimes the flaw is we take like little pieces of the Bible and we try to like make them or generalize them and apply them as blanket statements.
Well, he read a big chunk of it, though.
For me, from what I know, just from what I know, right? Because he was talking specifically to one person, right? In the Bible, he wasn't talking to a group of people. He didn't say, hey, all of the Christians, all of the Jews, all of these people. He was talking to one specific person. But what I know to be in the Bible, or how I feel, let me just say that, let me just put that disclaimer. How I feel, or what I know of how I interpret the Bible, is that Jesus was as close to perfect person, if we're going to say perfect, scientifically 99.99% perfect of a person, right? And so in order to get all of the things, or in order for you to be granted the things in his name, you have to align with who he was as a person. And if you aren't aligned with what he does as a person, then there is no guarantee that just because you ask for something that you will get it, because you did it in his name.
Let's talk about that real quick. So what he tells Philip is that the one who believes, so anybody who believes, but we agreed on terms before, right? So we agreed that whatever means anything, no restrictions. We agreed to that term, and we asked that anything agreed that I could ask for like one thing. I can't like gish gallop a bunch of things on him, right? And so if it is the case that you're the one who believes, because he doesn't say, Philip, this is for you. He says, the one who believes will do greater works than I do.
The one who believes. Yeah.
Yep. And this isn't the first time Jesus says this. Jesus kind of says this throughout the scriptures. Whenever somebody comes up to him and they're like, miracles? What? He's like, yeah, he literally tells his disciples, you guys have the ability to go move that mountain into the sea if you want.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I derail this for just a second?
Let's go here. Go ahead.
Can I ask you something real quick?
Sure.
Have you seen a mustard seed before?
I have not.
All right, here, I'll show it to you. Here's a whole bag of mustard seeds right here, right? So this is a mustard seed. You probably can't even see it between my fingers. You probably barely see that.
Gotcha.
That's all right.
Yep,
So you're familiar with the verse where it says you just need the faith, but a size of the mustard seed.
Of a mustard seed, you can move mountains, sure.
Would you say your faith is more than this?
I would.
Okay. So that verse also says you can do anything. You can move mountains. That's all the faith you need. That's it. Right? So we should be able to test this, right? That's what Cyber's getting at. We should be able to test, because if your faith is bigger than this, anything should happen. Anything you ask for can happen. It should happen.
And we're not asking for something that's going to break the laws of logic. We're not asking for like this mass miracle to convert the world. we're just asking that the one of us three just immediately know that God does exist.
Immediately knows that God is real. Just knows it. Like I know my wife is real.
What? So you know your wife is real because you can see her, right? That's what you feel.
And I have experience with her.
Right.
I have many ways to demonstrate that my wife is real. I can go get her birth certificate. I can go call her mother. I can call her sister. I can do all kinds of things. Yeah, absolutely.
Does that logic follow the same for, say, and now I know this is going to seem counterintuitive, probably against my argument, but for somebody that has is diagnosed with schizophrenia?
See, that's a great point you make, because it's possible that I
Yeah,
could
I'm just
be a person with
I'm
schizophrenia.
saying,
No,
that's
you're right.
all
You're
I'm
absolutely
saying.
right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. I could be a person diagnosed with schizophrenia. She could be a delusion. That's just part of my mental condition. You're absolutely right. And so how could I verify whether or not she's real? I could set up cameras, right? I could set up sensors. I could ask other people, who live in my house, whether or not my wife is real. I could ask my daughter. There's lots of ways I could verify it, right? And so that's all that Cyber's getting at, is that we can run this test, since you've already declared that your faith is bigger than a mustard seed. And we have no reason to not believe you. If you say your faith is bigger than this, then it is. We have no reason to disbelieve you, or to not believe you. So then if that's the case, we can demonstrate that this God is real.
I understand what you're saying. I feel like that it just, like I said, it just boils down to simply where you decide to put your faith. And
Well, we
for
don't have
me,
faith. You have faith.
Yeah,
though.
it's just you have. It's
well,
just you. It's
y'all
not
have
us.
faith in science. Y'all have faith in science, just like I have faith in God. So
I don't agree.
I can,
Yeah.
Well, so
I
what
can say that, there's how can you possibly assume, and you said it was inflation, not Big Bang. How could that be real unless you
Wait,
trust
we're pivoting.
what is
We're
happening?
pivoting.
Yeah,
Well,
hold on.
well,
So
no,
what we're
I'm not trying to
seeing here-
pivot. All I'm saying is that at the end of the day, you have to put your trust into something.
No,
Your
so-
decision to put trust into science is your decision, and you have your reasons for those decisions, your experiences. You say the equipment that you use, that these things can be measured. Some people also have real experiences with why they have faith in God, in Jesus, or in these things, that I feel like when we get into these type of debates, is ultimately what I feel like God tells us to respect and to love everybody regardless of their differences.
Oh yeah,
So
we do. We do.
My only responsibility is to love you and to respect you. So
Okay.
regardless of whether you feel like, science is the only thing or the truth, and if I feel like God is the truth, I think at the end of the day, going back to my thing where they can both coexist, I believe.
Okay. Do
That's
you
all.
try if you said a prayer to have one of us know without a doubt that God is real? Do you trust that prayer would be heard and
do.
answered?
I do.
Okay. All right. What are we waiting for then?
You want me to pray for you guys right now?
Right now, yeah. Just ask God to just impart one of us. Just pick one of us. Doesn't matter who. Impart one of us with knowledge that there's no doubt that God is real right now.
I'll try it. I'm gonna have trust in it, and let's see. All right. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for giving us breath in our lungs and giving us an opportunity to experience the world that you have created. I pray right now in your Son's name, Jesus Christ, that Hammy is gifted with the knowledge and the truth that you are real. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I'll keep everyone updated if I become a Christian.
There we go.
Now,
Hey,
the issue
hey,
that,
I would
that
love to see it, man. Y'all remember my name? Hey, like I
Yeah.
said, I really appreciate
Hey, check back in a week.
this
See if Hammy,
dialogue.
see if
Yeah.
Hammy converted. Just come back in a
You
week.
know, hey, I
or a
wish
few
I
days.
wish I could put a timing on it. I wish I could put a timing on it, but I do have faith that one day you're not going to give up science. You're not going to go against science, but I think you will have an experience that will
Well,
prove that God is real to you.
hold on real quick because we only have a few more seconds left. The difference is like redshift, right? Redshift is how we know that the Big Bang is still happening. It's spectroscopy, right? So you could go out if you can get the tools. You can go out and like I could record trust walking away from me because that's what redshift is, and I'd be able to see a redshift. I can go measure cars. I could go measure airplanes, and we would see the redshift, right? Well, if I'm able to do this, then I could go to a telescope and utilize spectroscopy and look at like the Andromeda galaxy and notice that there's a blue shift that's moving towards us. Or I could look at other areas that are moving away, and we can test this ourselves. So it's not that we have faith in science, as Lobes mentioned when he was here. This is stuff that we can go out and test ourselves if you have the know-how and the means to do it. If you don't, you can go read the papers and then see what other physicists say about it. Because fun fact, a lot of people don't know, science is in the business of proving itself wrong.
Yeah.
Because people want the next
Which it
Nobel
does all the time,
Prize.
correct?
Yes, it does. Yeah, but that's how we got the advancements that we got, is proving ourselves wrong over and over again. That's how you get closer to the truth.
Sure. I understand that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, hey, Jordan, thanks for coming up, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, absolutely.
And,
Absolutely,
enjoy the
guys.
rest of your day. All right.
Hammy, I'm going to check on you, man.
All right. There it is.
All right, guys. Bye.
All right. Have a good one. How come Hammy got it? The fuck?
Well, because look, all I'm saying is that if Hammy became a Christian again, like I would love to see the debates like you and I or Cyber and I would get
it would be very interesting. It would be very like I might have like a month-long like series where you would just be the guest.
right.
It's gonna be King Hammy from Hamelot coming up and just giving sermons.
Just giving sermons, just all over the place. Yeah, just trying to
Exactly.
explain this.
I like all my readings will be literally passages from the Bible.
Right? Hammy gone godly.
Yes, my Christian's name would be Hamothy.
Hamothy.
You must all call me Hamothy now.
Exactly. Oh yeah, that would be something. But well, you know, this reminded me a lot of the prayer for your back pain. I don't know if you remember that, like several months ago. Yeah. So I just remember checking in with you several times. Like, how's your back feel? Hurts. Like, okay, guess it didn't work.
Right. Like I'm laying down right now, so it's not hurting at all right now. But you know, once I get around moving again, maybe it'll start hurting again, and it's like, oh, yay, it's here again,
yay,
it's back.
Well, maybe if you cut that hair, you wouldn't have so much stress on your back.
Ah, you just want me to cut my luxurious locks. That's what it is.
I don't want you to.
Yes, like Samson.
I don't want you to. I want you to keep the
That's
locks.
Like
In fact, grow it down to your ass. I mean, just keep growing it. Hampson.
Hampson, I love it. Yes.
Hampson, I love it. There we go. Hampson. I love it. I love it. All right, I got to close up shop, but I'm bringing up the mods. So,
I'll hop down then.
All right. Hey, but everybody follow Cyber and gift him before he goes. So we just want to be sure to do that because Cyber's awesome.
You are not following Cyber. What are you doing with your life?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
What's
it's
going
not
on?
that like you should be following Cyber instead of Trust. Porque no los dos?
And you can
like
while you're
follow
at it,
them.
you can follow Hampson.
You can follow me.
Yes,
and so
you
that
can.
way you may know Like, if for some reason it says that it's not going to verify, let you know when Trust But Verify goes live, but it lets you know when I go live, and then you'll know when it's time to come hear a reading from Hamson.
Exactly.
You need to change your name and do like a PFP with you like hulking out with Hamson.
You totally should.
Right. But superimpose my face on like a picture of Samson.
Was it when you lost the game?
Yeah, it was when I lost the game.
Gah!
It drops as soon
Got
as
us
he says
again.
it. Of course he does.
Gah! So, with the exception of Hamson is our official reader, according to law. But these are the mods: Forever Atheist and Sunny and Jessica. So they do a fantastic job. Yeah, I saw that. I saw a little bit of drama in the comments today. So it was interesting. It was calm up here, but it was like a party in the comments.
They're doing the most as per usual.
Yeah, you guys had your hands full. So thank you. I appreciate you. Really, really appreciate you.
Oh yeah, don't come to the host now. You will get blocked. Okay, we don't play that here.
Yeah, we don't play that. And then there's Peg on the other side and Blaster Master 80 on the YouTube side as well. So thank you all. Appreciate you. So last thing, I'm gonna make carne con papas tonight. I'm gonna make that tonight. So meat and potatoes. Yeah, that's I think that's what it means. But I was thinking we have a newer content creator, Crash X CX0. I don't know if you guys have watched her, but she's really, really good. So I was thinking we can go crash her live. She's on right now. So she does some pretty cool stuff. So I was thinking we should go raid her live, and it's Crash and then XCX0. So I think it'll probably come up if you just put in Crash XC. So XCX0.
And Trust, you were indeed correct. Carnes con papas is meat with potatoes.
Meat and potatoes. Okay, so that's what I'm making as soon as I get done
meat
here.
with potatoes.
Meat with potatoes. Yeah,
corn.
Meat with potatoes. Yeah. So that, yes, Forever Atheist. She's the one. So okay, TP Seeker, let's get you a link. Probably it's gonna be like what? It's gonna be yeah, she's on TikTok, right? Crash XCX0. There we go. So this is who I'm talking about. But yeah, so go check her out. She's a really good content creator. Has really good arguments and all that good stuff. I've seen some of her videos, and she'll have some crash outs and all that stuff. So I think you guys will enjoy her. So everybody, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Thanks again for hanging out with me. It's so much fun doing these. I really enjoy hanging out with all of you. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right. Take care, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. It's going to be Friday tomorrow, so hopefully have some fun. Oh, and remember, mark your cards for Hammy and Cyber coming up. So we didn't get a winner again today. Okay, we're going to get a winner tomorrow. I know it. I feel it. I have faith. There it is. All right, guys. We'll see you over at Crashes Live.
Nice to see